Right, because that would give a much clearer picture to us as to what level of restoration has taken place here. And that's Flow Digital, JPS, and one of them. In relation to ATMs, which you mentioned, we don't have any ATMs currently in the constituency. And I'm wondering about the possibility of looking at putting some ATMs at the police station. There's an issue in Darliston where some bandits went there, and since then we haven't had any. But there is a functioning police station in the major towns. And so it shouldn't be difficult to put it there, because I suspect that these bandits would not be bold enough to attempt to rob somebody on the compound of the police station. And as you said, cash is currently king. So if you could look into that, I would appreciate it as well. In relation to the containers that you've said, there's a possibility of retrofitting. I'm wondering if it is to get access to the containers that is causing the delay, or including substations, transmission. So remember, as I said before, the things that you raised there, the information and detail, what I can say is that based on the meeting with JPS and the fact that they have gotten the confirmation from the government to the agreement that we had yesterday, verbally that's going to be documented, they're going to provide the government of Jamaica with a detailed listing which will take us to Christmas and take us to January. And that will be able to give communities timelines similar to what we did at the end of Beryl, because percentages mean nothing to me. It means nothing. If you don't know where your community is and when you expect it to get that light and you can't plan, then you're just in frustration and anxiety. So we will get that, and we will publish that, or the JPS, once we will sign off on it, we'll publish that on a daily basis as they did in the last 2 weeks of Beryl when we got on top of them to share information. But I want to state again, this is not a fix that does not include the worst affected areas. It includes sections of the worst affected areas for Christmas and by end of January, early February.
All right.
From St. Andrew Southern.
So is that clear? Is that
no,
clear?
but you don't go back to him. You don't go back to Mark Golden.
No, I go to Mark Golden, no, but is that clear when Minister said the 150 is not just for some areas, is even the worst areas them as well, right?
Yeah, man. So right, which is fine. I'm not disputing that. And guess what, Mr. Vegas? You see, when the man say, hold on, it's when the man say percentage mean nothing to me, it's strong man my argument. But me don't want to get into that. When you start, continue with that.
Thank you. Turn the mic on, please. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Minister, the context of your presentation in relation to the JPS situation is that the license expires, I think it's in July 2027. Notice has been given, triggering the consequences of license termination. Jamaica has roughly 20% of the equity in JPS. The funding gap, based on the recently done work to do the restoration of the grid, including substations, transmission, posts, etc., distribution lines, is around 350 million US. So our 20%, if you're looking at it as a shareholder, our 20% would be 70 million. But we are actually taking the risk of lending an unsecured loan to JPS of 150 million, which is twice the proportion of the equity that we hold in the business. So unsecured, you have the collateral to seize. You're relying on a mechanism to get it back, which I'm going to speak to in a second. So my question to you is,
Panel, is that accurate that there's no asset in JPS?
He didn't say that. He actually is saying that the equity the government has in JPS.
There's no asset to seize.
He said that?
Yeah.
I never hear that. Sorry. And I'm not disputing it. I'm just saying I didn't hear it. Sorry.
1 second.
including substations, transmission, ports, etc., distribution lines, is around 350 million US. Our 20%, if you're looking at it as a shareholder, our 20% would be 70 million. But we are actually taking the risk of lending an unsecured loan to JPS of 150 million, which is twice the proportion of the equity that we hold in the business. So unsecured, you have the collateral to seize. You're relying on a mechanism to get it back, which I'm going to speak to in a second. So
there's no collateral to seize with JPS?
So here's where Mark Golden is wrong. Mark Golden is categorically wrong in his valuation of Jamaica, the government's asset. If, as we agreed to earlier, Mr. Vegas, right? The $150 million is roughly 10 to 13% of JPS's current market cap, right?
Right.
So then 19% must be almost twice that much. So Mark Golden is saying it's only 70 million. That's categorically incorrect. No, so what he's saying he's wrong.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
He's even more wrong than what you're saying.
Yeah, because
he's even more wrong
even them put forward information, so the money we lend them equate to certain amount of shares.
Bridging, the man flipped the thing. Seeing? He's saying that Jamaica, the government current valuation in JPS is 70 million, where
Right.
it's really around 300 million. See?
Damn.
Because what he's saying, what Mark Golan said there, is since our $150 million is almost twice what we've having a JPS, we're going to lose that chunk of money if things are going to work out. But he's wrong because he's pegging that on 70 million versus about 300 million. You get what I'm saying?
Boom,
He's categorically wrong.
I tell
You get that, right?
dangerous. 3 card man.
No,
Yo,
no.
watch it.
Yo, let me tell
My
you
question
something.
to you
Let me
is-
tell you
Well,
something.
let's finish this.
Look
Let's
here.
finish this. Let's finish this first. Let's finish this first, bro. Now, let me come in. Next level. But watch this now. Watch this. Now show the man gone again.
Anthony.
First of all, the other 200 million, which is currently not funded, but which is necessary to achieve the timelines that you have indicated for restoration. What is the assurance that that 200 million will be raised on a timely basis so as to enable the necessary expenditures to be made by JPS to hit the targets, which are presumably fairly aggressive targets, given the extent of the damage to the grid and so on?
You can't stop Mr. Vegas.
What level of confidence
Now,
do you
hold
have
on.
that 200 million will be raised by them? And what is the time frame that it has to be raised by for that target to be met? I'd like to know the time frame for that. Secondly, would we be disbursing our 150 before that 200 million is in place? Are we going to take the risk of lending that money to JPS? Funded out of the consolidated fund, you've said. I was going to ask you how it's going to be funded. That's roughly the same amount as the cap bond drawdown, we're told. This 150, which Jamaica has been seeing as being critical to the housing, shelter, the school fixing up, the health centers and hospitals, etc. JPS is now going to get the benefit of that money. I want to know whether we're going to take that risk and disburse those funds to JPS until the damage fund is fully funded. Because it stands now, all you've told us is you've left it up to them and they're to come back to you. That, I think, is a risk we're not prepared to take as a country.
Therefore, that is a risk we're not prepared to take as a country.
Let me go back to what you asked earlier.
Take
Right?
the floor.
Mark Golan is making the assumption that the full $350 million is needed. So that's
Yes.
the question you asked, right?
That is
He's
one
making
point.
he's making that assumption. And if I'm not mistaken, JPS said they need $75 million increments and then another $75 million increments to take them into February, late January, early February, right? So I think we both, that's what we heard. So
Right.
Mark Golan is saying it's more than that amount. And based on what's available to me, I don't think that's the case. But even before we go to that, Mark Golan is undervaluing the government's assets in JPS significantly.
And saying they have, and
Aye.
saying, and he also said they have no collaterals to seize.
No, what he's saying is that, right, because of his error, which is a blatant error, it's a, and you can categorize however you want. But the government's value of assets of JPS should be around $300 million. See, roughly almost $300 million.
Break it down for the audience.
So we did the rough maths when we did my research the other day, right?
Yeah.
And
Based on the value of JPS and anything, break it down.
right, because when Mark Golan was talking, I said to myself, yo, how much would $150 million be worth? Right? And the rough maths approximately would be 10 to say 11 or 12%. Seeing? So if $150 million is value,
How did you arrive there? How did you arrive there though?
it's a percentage of the market cap of JPS.
Okay.
So sorry, good question. Because I'm making an assumption that people are following. So JPS market cap, roughly 11%. Can you know these things are volatile within reason, right? The $150 million US is roughly 10 to 11% of JPS's overall market
What's
cap.
the market cap?
Let me find it.
Yeah, let me tell you something, man. You see, Mark Golan take
Lie.
people for fool. He take people
Lie.
for jackass. You see, this man a bot for JPS to get that license they renew, you know. He need JPS to get the license they to continue. It's brother man, Jano.
Let me give you one better than that. Enough of these tapanaris, you know, and Jamaican people run back at them and think so they mean them good, but them show them honor already. And so we know say anytime we have situations like economic disaster or meltdown, or there's a potential meltdown in the economy, the tapanaris them start lick them chops. Why? because them have money readily available. And they know that if the private lenders them lend JPS the money, them are gonna make certain so them get back some 20% interest rate. But remember JPS can't go down, you know. So them kind of mad at the government for no, so the government will lend them this money at 5.5%. Because they wanted to come in and lend the money and get more for them money.
Yes.
Because
That's a reasonable argument.
they know JPS
Reasonable
cannot
argument.
fail. They know JPS is a company where the Jamaican people them depend on.
Mr. Vegas, JPS cannot fail under no circumstances. It coming like Edison in America. They can't fail.
JPS come
Because
like
as long as-
power.
As long as JPS has a contract, it cannot fail. Is the argument, right?
Yeah,
As
because the
long-
power
as
them
long
deal
as-
with, you know,
no, as
and you
long as
need
people-
power.
As long as people need electricity, JPS can't fail.
Cannot
Right.
fail.
No. Well. No. Remember. No. Daryl Vaz could make the judgment to replace JPS, you know, if it's more favorable to the people, you know.
Yeah, but we still have a replacement. But at
No.
this point, we
Right.
don't have
A replacement, but not necessarily JPS.
one. But we don't have one. Whether JPS
I-
or APS are
Brother, we agree. I'm just
Right.
showing you the peg, right? But hear me out now.
But what me have to say, if I had $150 million US readily, I would have lent JPS it. I would have negotiated for 6 or 7%. Because it would not be this catastrophic situation. But in a catastrophic situation as this, the government have to also negotiate in good faith just to restore.
You know, so I'm going to dig deep.
hold
I'm
on,
going
we
to
have a
dig
new
deep
guest.
and see if Mark Golding have shares in a JPS.
All
I'ma
right,
dig
we have a
deep
new
on that.
guest. We have a new guest. You, Blair.
Animal, really quick, before we go into that, right? Before we go into that.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Let's-
Good afternoon.
Hold on.
Just one point I want to clear up. When Mark Golding speak of the $70 million, it wasn't as a result of the value of JPS. Is the government 20% of the 350 which is required?
No one said that.
Huh?
Yeah.
No. Mark Golding is saying that Jamaica, the government's 19.9% is worth 70 million, and that's wrong.
The government 20% of the 350. That's what he was speaking about.
You Blair,
No.
stop the system, man.
I know that we're here, brother. Honestly, I know that we're here.
No, it's narrative which you are putting out there now. The man
No,
was speaking specifically to the 20% the government own.
Which is not 70 million. Which is not
50%.
All right.
No.
Hold on. We're not with it. Somebody calculate for this man, yeah? Yeah?
It's not correct.
Hold on.
No, Mr. Vegas. Mr. Vegas, don't complain.
You're up on a platform tonight, you're gonna get corrected. Somebody
No, come on.
please,
You don't need to correct me.
sir.
No,
You're on
but-
the platform, you're gonna be corrected. Are you gonna come down?
No,
Yeah,
you
but
need to be
platform-
corrected. What are you need to be corrected?
Virgin,
You are
Mr.
saying,
Vegas.
you are
The
saying,
value-
you're
the
saying,
value-
sir.
the value of JPS.
Sir.
Hold on, man. Hold on.
What on the version?
This word, you know me, you're not good on this, you know.
Right, but what on respectfully. Hold on. You cannot come here, change the facts to your narrative to suit your narrative.
All of us heard
Well,
about Mark
it's
Golding.
not-
Hold on, brother. Hold on, sir. Hold on, bossy. Hold on. And stop embarrassing yourself, brother, because you're good people. 20% of 350 million is not 70 million. What are you doing? What are you doing?
5/7/35, brother.
Huh?
5/7/35.
Mr. Vegas, go back and
Yo,
play
somebody-
it. You want to go back and play the video?
Yo, to correct the money for me, please.
You want? No, of course, him wrong. We all agree he's wrong.
Brother, 20% of 350 million is not 70 million, brother.
It's how much? How much?
Listen, brother, listen, yeah. At 10%, listen, so 20% of every 100 will be 20, so that's 3. A 70 million Vegas.
70 million, 10% at 35. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Why you say me wrong?
You're right. However, I know that's the man I talk about, brother.
The man was speaking specifically about the 20% which is the government, which represent the government share in the figure for the restoration of 350 million.
All right, hold on, the boss. Hold on.
Including
Then
substations,
we-
transmission, posts, etc., distribution lines, is around 350 million US. Our 20%, if you're looking at it as a shareholder, our 20% would be 70 million. But we are actually,
If you're looking at it as a shareholder, our 20% would be 70 million.
In regards to the 350,
To the 350,
keep the
yeah.
conversation there, so 350 million.
Is what the company, the valuation of the company is 350 million.
No, that's not the
No,
valuation
that's the
of
value
the
of the
company.
company.
That money is for the restoration.
But me not really understand. Me not really understand why
Member
I'm
from
saying.
St. Andrew Southern. Who's that?
Hold on.
thank you.
Turn the mic on, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Minister, the context of your presentation in relation to the JPS situation is that the license expires, I think it's July 2027. Notice has been given, triggering the consequences of license termination. Jamaica has roughly 20% of the equity in JPS. The funding gap, based on the recently done work to do the restoration of the grid, including substations, transmission, posts, etc., distribution lines, is around 350 million US. So our 20%, if you're looking as a shareholder, our 20% would be 70 million. But we are actually taking the risk of lending an unsecured loan to JPS of 150 million, which is twice the proportion of the equity that we hold in the business. So,
Oh, you're right by that. Me still lost.
So hold on still now. Mark Golden kind of wrong still, you know.
Mark
Can you hear
Golden is
this, yeah?
correct.
Eh? No.
Golden is correct.
No, check this out, yeah? Check this out, yeah? So the government already, the company need 350 million, yeah? For restore, get the electric back running, yeah? The Jamaica government would have responsible for 70 million of it.
Which is
Who said that?
50%.
Eh?
Who said that? Who said?
I
Where you
am
not get
saying
that figure?
Listen up, because
Yeah,
Jamaica is part of.
Alex.
Hold on,
You know,
let
me
me
just
finish,
look
brother.
it up. Me just look it
Brother,
up, you know, and
let me finish. Let me finish, brother. Listen to this, yeah? Because Jamaica is one of the owner of the company. The company need 350 million. Jamaica own 20%. So if Jamaica own 20% of the the 350, it would be 70 million. Jamaica would have to put that up if Jamaica needs to put up any money. So basically, Jamaica would be lending them what? Would be what? It would be 80 million now. It would be 80 million. So the 75 and the 80, that'd be 150, right?
About 75.
No, a 75. Listen up, member said Jamaica appear 70, but we need 100. It would be 150 million Jamaica lend them. So out of the 70 million, how much left back when
80.
Jamaica pay?
Right,
80.
yeah.
Right. So basically, Jamaica really lend them $80 million. Technically, then, if that's the case.
Oh, me understand what you are saying now. Me just understand what you are saying now.
Because
That's
Jamaica
like-
is part
that's
of the
like
owner of the
say-
company.
That's why you believe wrong. Because if Mark
No,
Golden
you're
didn't make a
wrong.
point the way you believe, say, well, I'm Mr. Blair.
You're wrong.
If Mark
You're
Golden was
not-
making that,
you're wrong.
if Mark Golden was making that point, yeah, then the government could easily say, all right, so we have put up our 80 more million from where we were supposed to come up with then.
Yeah.
If we get to anybody say.
Yeah, exactly. So me. The government has only put 80 more million because it is the government responsibility to get the people them life.
If you're
And
a
it is their
shareholder, if you're a shareholder in a company, basically, that you say.
Yeah.
But Clifford, if you say that no, Marabini should be putting up what? 140?
No, they're gonna put up.
Yo, uno have it miss, uno not have it right, bro. Because look here, if uno go back and look on it, it's a thing when a public, you see that 19% there?
Yeah.
It's not, I know something what to do with it, like the shares of the company, you know? It's just for Jamaica government to sit at the table and oversee the discussion of JPS.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Go and look at it, you blame.
Jamaica own 19.9% of the share.
But you have to think about what is this percentage is about. It's not about this money and profit where they make. It's not about that.
Jamaica.
You need to go and look it up, bro.
Hold on. Marabini own 40%.
You're not getting what I'm saying. This 19.9% that JPS, that Jamaica government have in JPS, it doesn't have nothing to do with the profit and all of that.
Oh man, the Jamaica,
they don't have the full, listen, they don't have the full benefit like the majority stakeholders. They don't. Because their job, listen, let me finish. Their job is to sit at the table when them have conversation about the running of JPS. So therefore, with that, they are not this big gain from the profit of JPS like the other shareholders. So you cannot do that maths and say your 19% of the profit are the value of the company. It would be unfair.
So here's what I see, right?
No, you're incorrect.
Well, hold on, let me chime in.
Let me just make one statement. Coming out still. East West of South Korea own 40%. Marabini of Japan own 40%. The government of Jamaica own 19.9%. Another 0.1% is owned by some special over 3,000 and had.
I think you're right because the government was contemplating selling them shares to the public.
Yeah. So all right. In 2007, when the Bruce Golding led administration,
Mr. Vegas, if you go on the, if you go,
make him man finish, brother.
In 2007, under the Bruce Golding administration, Bruce Golding administration wanted to sell the 19.9%. So you are telling me now what they would be selling? A seat at the table? Come on, man, get in the house.
They would be selling something that is not as valuable as the large stakeholders. That is what I'm saying.
Listen. You see, if Mark Golan, what Mark Golan said, I can't help but linguistically speaking, he was pegging that you guys are being very charitable and conveniently benefit from the maths, right? You guys are saying that Mark Golan is saying that their 19.9% is $70 million out of the $350 million. For whatever it's worth, that maths is correct, but what we heard, Mark Golan wasn't clear in that sense.
Because Mark Golan, they don't correct.
The maths convenient, but I think Mark Golan didn't clearly articulate that. We're speculating he said that. Because if you listen to the language of what he said, that's not really what he said. Listen, I'm not trying to go against Mark Golan, but what we heard doesn't come across like what you guys are saying. And I'm not saying wrong, but that's not what we heard.
Explain to me what you heard.
We hear Mark Golan wasn't, he wasn't disciplined in what he said.
He said the amount of equity where we have in it, that him said.
Yeah, Mark Golan come across like he must say, we have 19.9% of the company. And the way he framed it, one would walk away thinking he's saying it's worth 70 million.
Yeah.
And now you guys are saying that he's saying that 70 million is 20% of 350, which is correct, but that's not what we heard.
No, yeah, that's not the deal. The deal is this, yeah. It need 370, it need 350 million to restore all the damage done, yeah?
Which is not true. Based on what we also heard. From what we heard is 2 tranches of 75 million each, right? That's the next concern, That from our understanding, it's only 150 million is needed.
You are incorrect.
Isn't that what we heard?
That's why I wish you would have played.
What was that?
Play it again, Subi. Play that thing with Mark Golan again, Subi, please.
No. Mark Golan is saying...
Who put the 350 on the table? Where the number 350 come from?
JPS.
Okay. JPS required 350 to do the restoration. Right? The government is offering 150.
No, 150 to
government is
restore.
offering 150.
No, 150 to restore light by February.
That's what we heard, right? 2 payments of 150, two increments of 150, two increments of 75 million.
You go back now and said the judge Mark Golding wasn't correct when he
No.
was specifically speaking to the 20% of 350.
Vaz is saying.
Hold on. Slow down.
Vaz is
Can I
saying
try
that.
to paraphrase something right quick? So
Sure.
the man said they need 350 million. JPS 20% stake and 20% of that 350 million would be 70 million. However, they're willing to double up and lend them 150 million. That's what I heard from the clip.
No, what we're saying is that from our understanding in Parliament, there are two increments of $75 million that will need to take us to end of January, early February. That's what we heard in Parliament
From
also,
the clip
right?
that was just played?
No, man,
I heard that too, but that is insignificant. What we are
No,
speaking.
but you have to go to what Mr. Vegas was asking. Mr. Vegas was asked. No, hold on, Bridget.
No, hold on,
Mr.
man.
Vegas table the question, so you have to get the context of what Mr. Vegas was saying before you say it's insignificant.
I was here listening, I was here listening.
All right.
And I heard when you deposit, as if to say Mark Golding was saying the total asset of JPS, the company said value 250 million.
No.
That's not what we're saying, right? Nobody said that.
What you said.
Nobody said that.
No, sir.
Nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Nobody said that.
Mr. Vegas asked a question. Mr. Vegas made the assertion that only $150 million will be needed to get us into late January, early February.
Right.
And I think we've all heard that, right?
No,
and then
they
Mr.
said
Vegas,
350 to do it fast, right?
no, Mark Golding said that. Mark Golding said that.
350, no, it needs 350. I guess the amount of damages and everything. It's like what we have said if the country had 8.8 billion in damages. It no means say we can't get people houses and whatever.
Thank you. So guess what now? Let me help you, Mr. Vegas.
Right, go ahead.
I'm doing networking, right? And I've gone through hurricanes and all kind of stuff, right? So you see, sometimes when you lose your network, you can build a fraction of the network with limited capacity.
Right.
See?
Right.
To restore power as expansive as possible. See? Mm-hmm. And from our understanding, to get to light to as many people, except for the edge cases, because there are some edge cases that was mentioned, right? But to the majority of people, they're saying $150 million will suffice.
Hannibal, you know why me know say,
the money is really to get the additional linemen.
You know why me know say,
One mic, please.
I want to listen to this.
Minister of Finance.
You play one mic. Subi, go ahead.
Listen this quickly. And see if it change your influence. 1 second.
Member from St. Andrew Southern.
Thank you.
Turn the mic on, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Minister, the context of your presentation in relation to the JPS situation is that the license expires, I think it's July 2027. Notice has been given, triggering the consequences of license termination. Jamaica has roughly 20% of the equity in JPS. The funding gap, based on the recently done work to do the restoration of the grid, including substations, transmission, posts, etc., distribution lines, is around 350 million US. So our 20%, if you're looking at it as a shareholder, our 20% would be 70 million. But we are...
All right. So if you're looking at it as a shareholder, our 20% will be 70 million.
Right. If you examine the statement, Because of how he
70
poorly
million
spoke?
of the 350.
No. Because of how he
No.
poorly spoke. There's only one way to interpret what he said there. That
No,
is
man,
the
how will you guys interpret it like that?
Bridget.
Listen to this, man.
Hold on, Mr. Vegas. More for me, the Virgin knows, so yo, I'm not in. We're taking separate sides, but we have to agree when things, seem a way. You know what I mean? We can't.
Let's listen, because I don't want to be wrong. Let's listen.
But he's saying 350 million, 5 ways is 70 million each.
The JPS of 150 million, which is twice the proportion of the equity that we hold in the business.
You hear what I'm saying? That's what I mentioned, proportionality, right?
That's what I want to go there, so.
That's what I
Right,
mentioned,
but if you're a
proportionality.
20% stakeholder, you would then say be responsible for 20% of the funding. So 20% of the 350 million that's needed is 70 million. That's what he's saying. That's the statement
listen,
they have.
You're not incorrect. You're not incorrect what you're saying about grammatically.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Grammatically, that's not what he said.
1 second.
Well, I guess
where you're
he
coming from,
doesn't
you know.
understand what he's saying.
One second.
etc. Distribution lines is around 350 million US. So our 20%, if you're looking at it as a shareholder, our 20% would be 70 million. But we are actually taking the risk of lending an unsecured loan to JPS of 150 million, which is twice the proportion of the equity that we hold in the business. So unsecuring, you have the collateral to seize. You're relying on a mechanism to get it back. Which
Stop this. What him has said, he is saying that him just said him value the company at 350. He did not make a distinction with the loan amount. Him say our stake in the company is 70 million.
Which is wrong, right?
Which is wrong.
No, not
The part where I agree with.
The stake of the amount needed. Our portion of the 350. That's what it means.
Our portion.
Hold on. The reason why I can't 100% agree with you, and I'm not saying you're wrong, yeah, but I can't see it right from your lenses. It's because him say we don't have that amount of collateral to seize. Them, you understand me?
Him right. You know, so him right. Let me tell you
So, Mr.
something,
Vegas.
Mr. Vegas. Mr. Vegas, I want you to do a quick research, right?
Collateral for them to see.
Hold
So
on
they
the
have to find other ways to get the money.
Genesis, hold on. If you should go and look on the value of JPS and the value that Jamaica government have in JPS, it is 200 million US dollar.
Jamaica.
That's what the shares come up to, 200 million.
For JPS or 200 million
for Jamaican government.
Right, so that the Virgin does earlier on say 20.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be
70.
If you break that down, it wouldn't be 70 million.
So you mess right. Mark Golden made a compound statement, right? The way he framed it, it sure does seem as if he was speaking
talking
to
about our equity, the value of our equity.
Right. And then in the hold on. And then in the back end now, when him start speak to the risk, that's the problem. That Mark Golden wasn't this. When he said us was too sloppy, right? And I get what the Virgin must say, but I can't get them the benefit of the doubt because that was not clear.
Mark Golden know that Jamaica government value in a JPS, it is 200 million. He knows. And if the government, if JPS request 355 million, that is over the value of what Jamaica government have in a JPS.
That's what I'm saying, a component statement, right? Up front though, when he was talking about the 19.9%, he wasn't talking about the.
Well, just the point you just made me general. I'll show you how the point, how the argument flawed then, and why it gets scrutinized. I'll show you why. If we are lending the government 150 million, Mr. Blair, then
JPS,
and we have our equity at 200 million. Why would him say we don't have enough collaterals?
Not we. Hold on. JPS
because based on where my talk, he must say the JPS need 300 million.
No, but 150 we are lending.
Can I say something right quick? He's saying 150 sounds a lot because we only need to give them 70. That's our 20%. But we're going to give them 150 million. And if they don't have enough collateral, so if the loan is not serviced, they don't have enough collateral to repay. There are other methods that they can use to get their money.
Correct me if I'm wrong. JPS asked for 300 million from the government for buy,
No,
right?
150.
No.
Offering 150 million, but their liability would be like 70%. As a 20% stakeholder, they would need to only find 20% of the amount, which is 70, but they're offering 150.
So get to Mr. Vega's point now, right? We know JPS is not going to fail, right? We all agree that, right?
Right.
Let's be sincere. So why even stress the idea of risk when we know JPS is not going to fail?
As why are you giving them so much money?
No, I get that, right? But
Why
we know...
why would you say that is a risk we're not supposed to take?
So if
We
people
know
don't ask
JPS
how
not
we
gonna
gonna get
fail.
the money back. There's always a
No,
question.
but we know JPS is not going to fail. Let's be honest.
Remember, so we can't increase the shares.
But does the public know that? When the public hear 150 million, they go crazy, right?
Clifford, let me say something to you.
Yeah.
75% of the energy generated in Jamaica is generated privately. JPS only generate 25%. JPS have monopoly on
For distribution. Which is correct.
Right? In the parliament last week, Tuesday, the Minister of Finance said in the loan of the 6.7 billion US dollar, JPS will be getting 450 million US dollar.
Right.
And they will repay back the 150 million and have the 300 million to do what they want to do. Right?
So let me ask you the question. When is that 400 million going to get done?
Hold on. The financial secretary said at the PAAC meeting that as far as she sees is only $3.6 billion
Readily available.
guaranteed for the government.
Right.
And
So that's the
there is
question I'm asking.
in all of that agreement is $450 million for JPS.
All right. So that's why I asked the question earlier before you came on. When will that 450 be available? But here's what I'm saying though, right? Let's be sincere. We know JPS is not going to fail, so it's not necessarily a risk in real terms, right? That's not the issue with the money.
Contract is not renewed.
You believe JPS? You believe it's a risk to lend JPS 150 million? Mr.
No, I'm a talk.
No, it is not. Hold on.
And there goes that's it right there.
JPS need $350 million to do the completion of the work. Lending them half of it or 150 million. Is that enough to complete the work?
No, we're not making that argument.
50 million to restore light, electricity to people.
Yes. Yeah. To create network visibility.
Did I show you how it can build out a network with a different estimate, with a certain estimate, but it no means say you're not going to get the network up and running.
So the 150 will not be able to provide 100% connectivity.
Yes, and it was never suggested.
Mid-February. By mid-February.
The people them want light.
By mid-February.
Yes, but, big man.
By the end of January to the first part of February.
What was going to happen in 6 months?
It's full recovery.
You know what I would prefer the government do? Stand guarantor for the $350 million for JPS.
We do. How them do? Explain it.
They don't need to. Why do they need to do that?
No,
because Mr. Blair, not the sense. Because me stand guarantor and the person now pay them thing and I'm here to pay.
No, but it was
lending JPS at 350 million.
But you may say, right?
That worse than what them do what you say, no, Mr. Blair.
I don't know why
So listen up, we are reason, right? We are reason. So hear this, yeah? If we show us a JPS not gonna fail, we can lend them 350 million.
No, because we don't have that money.
But they only giving them 150.
No, I'm just saying. Listen. I'm just making an argument, and I'm not just saying that. And I'm just a devil advocate. to the situation.
But-
So just see
So
where the
here's why
conversation
maybe
about.
that's not a good idea. So here's why that may not be a good idea, right? If the interest rate that the government borrow at is greater than, if you only hear the word if, I'm not saying it is.
It's greater
If the
than
interest rate is greater than 5%, huh?
Yeah.
If the interest rate is greater than 5.5%, then borrowing a full $350 million would
Let JPS at a lower interest rate will make no sense.
yeah. See? So what we're saying is that to create network visibility so enough people have light, not full capacity, you know. You need $150 million to get them to January or the end of February, right?
But not,
And then
that's
for the
that's not what the minister said. That's not what the minister
What-
said. You know. The
what he
minister
said
deliberately said the people want light.
yes, but and that's what we're saying. And that's what we're saying. And that's what we're saying.
If the people let me get back, all the customers. First thing we have to make a logical reason. I think logical, a factual reason we are using. He said the customers, the Jamaica Public Service customers, and everybody will like tear down a customer, you know. So the customer,
we can't speak to that.
at this point, them give you the map. Them say 40% here without 80% down in Westmoreland and I think down in St. Louis too. So what him say is the customers, all the customers on the JPS grid will get back electricity by mid-February.
Right.
150.
So
That
what
doesn't mean
JPS
that-
proposed before was 6 months, but they're saying that's too long. But JPS is saying they don't have the resources.
Right.
If they were to get it back by February, they need 300 more linemen from overseas. So the
Top up
money,
the
if
line,
they don't get
guys.
150 million, they can't do it. So the
Top up the
150
line,
million
top up the
they're
line.
lending them is to expedite the process.
Right. So $150 million. Right.
Sorry, Mr. Blair, you're one of the more balanced PMP. Do you accept that, like what Ian said, we fix up house before we give people electricity?
Top up the live, guys. Top up the live.
You see, fix up house before we give the people electricity. How can you give people electricity when they don't have any house?
Why is the government building? Why is the government building houses for people?
No,
Why
you
is the government
cannot
building
give-
back these houses?
The people without house cannot get electricity.
And you
So that's-
shouldn't stop the people for electricity that already have houses either. So you have to work on both. It has to
So
be
hold on.
So you Blair kind of think backward. So you Blair, are you aware that before you even build a house, you can apply for your light pole and you put your meter and everything on it?
But now you funny.
It's probably
Why would you just want
No,
to
no,
have
I
a-
want you to answer my question, Mr. Blair. Answer my question, please. Are you aware of that?
Hey, you see?
Yes
Yeah,
or no? Yes or no?
No, hold on, man. Hold on. You asked me a question. Give me a chance to answer. You said, on a number of occasions, people building houses because they need electricity in part of the building of the house. To operate.
Let me reframe my question.
No,
please.
you're not for reframe. No, you're not for reframe. You're not for reframe. A lot of people apply for the meter and the spot where they have to build the house. You know what the reason why they do that? Not
Because they want to build a house.
Because
they want to build a house and they need electricity.
they need electricity in helping the building of the house. Some
Yes, so your argument about people. Hold on, Mr. Blair. So your argument about people can't get house without electricity it is null and void then. You don't make no sense. Would you agree with
point.
So hold on now. So the thousands of houses which was
Yes, so we
damaged-
can't have logical conversation if people behave like this. Because the evidence is there and people can apply for light before you build up your house. People do it on numerous occasions and Mr. Blair know it. And it's still
Hold
go
on,
off on a tangent.
Hold on. Let me ask that question. I don't agree with Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Well, let me answer the man question now. Because you have to put things in context, you know.
Hey, brother, just be honest. Listen up, Mr. Beard. Mr. Beard, I'll have to be honest. Listen up. Just be honest. Hear me now, Mr. Blair. Just all we need. Listen up, Mr. Blair. Here I go on. We understand, say, me and you, we are PNP till the day we take a last breath. Me understand that, yeah? So here I go on, yeah? Let us just be honest about the situation. We just, for we are reason honest, nobody can say, boy, you're dishonest, see? So we just keep it real. We need electric. Yeah? We need electric for listen up. For many reasons. For many reasons we need electric for. So the question about electric at the house first. Listen to me. Them already live without the house, you know. So we need electric you know to make everything go. The electric first and then the house them come next. Even though we know what you said.
It doesn't stop house. It doesn't stop that. It has nothing to do with it. They have the resources, so they can work on both. The government doesn't need to work with JPS to restore electricity. Once they give them the money, JPS is going to do what they do, so they can go focus on rebuilding houses.
Do you realize that, right? Do you realize that right now them doing an assessment and all the houses that were flooded are so because they don't want to just put them at the electricity and the house then burn down. So that's right.
What I'm correct now, Green Vegas.
So you have to recertify your house.
You have to recertify.
So look at this now. So that is even further evidence to show you, say, there are houses and customers and people who them house not fully blown down, and you're saying to them basically, said, don't put back electricity in the region. Wait until everybody else fix up, but then you give all them people electricity. So you're saying to the hospital, you're saying to the police station, you're saying to the fire station, you're saying to everything in that area, say, yo, stay in the darkness till for 6 months because we have to build up at them people that own us a house. Then Mr. Blair, ask you a question. If you are going to speed the building.
Vegas, I think that is an unfair.
If you are going to speed building, Mr. Blair.
The hospital then get back light. Those are essential.
Yeah, but the infrastructure
Get real.
Mr. Blair,
get real, Mr. Blair. Just get real for once.
Mr. Blair, without the grid, them can't get none.
There's standby generator, not for them to put it on generator.
With over 6 billion in funding, even if it's 3 billion, and they're lending money to JPS, they're not working with them, they're not linemen. They still have all the time in the world to go focus on rebuilding houses. They do.
Let me ask you guys
they can do both.
Let me ask you guys a controversial question. Why is the government building back people's houses?
Because that's what the government has to do.
And they have aid. What about all the aid they got? Didn't they get aid?
Hold on. Listen, I'm not objecting to them building the homes, you know. I'm trying to figure out from an insurance perspective which homes were insured.
Which Jamaican, insure their house other than
No, curious to hear what this man are gonna say. Make him talk.
No, listen. I'm not making a judgment one way or the other. I'm merely asking a question, right? To what extent is the government going to rebuild homes? What percentage of the homes is the government obligated to rebuild?
I mean, the government can do as much as possible until everything gets done.
Zero.
Have an obligation to utilize the aid that they receive to help the people
sometimes we have to wonder. Some people ask some questions, right? We have to really wonder where them
only 5% of the houses in Jamaica are
50. Listen, 50. You are going, brother. You see the Adam and the
government has a responsibility to the people.
All right, Alex. Say no more.
We are asking questions. Listen up. We are asking questions just like how you are asked a question, yeah? So here we go on, yeah? You have to understand where the Virgin asks the question from. The Virgin say the government not obligated to do that, Him know that, So he's asking the question, how is that an issue? Like the government is responsible for that. But you know, see that side there.
More for no ethically and
question like that.
They are responsible for that.
No, they're not.
Why you check up when it comes to natural disasters.
They have a humanitarian responsibility to the people.
The government, no.
And they got the funding to do it.
Really?
The world has helped them with the funding to do it. So why did they take the funds?
The government, listen.
Did the government not collect funds to do it?
Hold on.
Hear this.
We need to
Hold on.
we need to look at we need to look at how the funds are earmarked, right? Seeing there's $6.7 billion in aggregate. Now, understand that those funds are pegged in different buckets. The government in a free market system is not obligated to rebuild a house.
Hold on,
Even in the time of natural disaster, my friend.
No, Virgin, obligated doesn't mean that they shouldn't, Listen, make the distinction, right?
Let me,
But that's
let,
one
me
to
con-
establish.
let me contribute something into as the government now. The government said him have 650 million Jamaican dollars. We them get two collection. And them have 1.7 million US dollar. Those funds are funds which were contributed. The government said those funds will be used to help to fix or to build houses for the persons who suffered losses. The houses are not being built out of the $6.7 billion, which is the loan from the I-5. So there's a distinction there. And
The $6.7 billion.
Hold on. Please note that out of the $6.7 billion, $2.4 is for private sector.
Yeah, we know that, right? We agree.
Nothing to do with that. The
No, we
government
agree
is
with that.
responsible for 3.6 billion US dollars, which will be used to fix their infrastructure like police station, hospital, clinics, roads, etc. The money used to fix the house are money contributed by various organizations and various countries. Not the
I think you guys are missing my point, I'm not saying that the government shouldn't rebuild homes where applicable, What I'm saying is that the government isn't ethically obligated or legally obligated. I'm not saying
No
that they shouldn't.
responsibility there. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but we have to establish a baseline. So to the extent that the government fix any home,
the question of obligation should not arise, brother.
Brethren, you know why it should arise? Because there are a lot of people who think the government should fix everything for private owners.
No, nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying
listen,
that.
A lot of
That's
people
impossible.
think that. No, a lot of people think the government should have replaced the people in house on a Jamaica.
Yes.
That's
Everybody
the point.
has
The government should replace who can't replace the house, but anybody who can build back a house and buy a house, they should go ahead and do so.
Right,
No, but
many of those
finish,
homes
finish.
that
amount of
Hold
restoration
on,
and some
no.
amount of stability.
Hold on, no. The point is this, yeah? The government don't have to do none of that, If the government wanna do that, the government is being nice. The government is not obligated to do
So
any
you
of
think
that.
the government does
That's it.
favors to the
Hold
people?
on, no. Let me finish. It is not the government responsibility to do such thing. So when time we
Yes.
sit down and expect say the government for build house to give poor people, that is not the government job.
All right.
The government
look
job
at
is
this is not
things like
Hold on,
no,
hold
let me
on.
finish.
So make we compare something. Let us compare something. The government build houses in America, right? We call them
Who?
Section 8, Project House. Right? That is the government duty.
duty.
Yeah.
Under
Yes, the
what social
government does
contract?
have a duty to the people.
Yes,
No.
but the
Only in
government's
Jamaica people
duty
think
to
the
build
government doesn't have a
these houses.
responsibility.
Listen up. Do you understand? Do you understand how the American government works? That there's different part of the government that deal with certain things which the
It
Jamaican
doesn't matter
government
which
have
part
that.
the government speaks of the
Sister,
broad.
listen. The housing authority in America has nothing to do with the government.
And the federal money them use, Alex. Come on, bro.
Brother,
So
listen,
there's a
brother.
federal
Sir,
government, right?
the prison get federal money too. So what are you saying?
So when use the same thing for Jamaica,
The mere
who's the
fact they have
government
federal
and
money them use, Bill it, Alex.
Big man.
what
That's
authorities
man.
do they have in Jamaica and who do they fall under?
Big man, listen to this, yeah? Hear this, all right? Listen. The point is this, yeah? The government of Jamaica are responsible for things like road, schools, hospitals,
Some
and
roads.
those infrastructure,
Some roads.
yeah? Some roads, yeah? But not for people life. That are no government responsible for that. So no, we are straight. The argument, hold on, the argument astray from the main part. So Make we get that part out of it. Say, if the
One second,
government,
One
hold
second
on, let me
before-
finish. Let me finish, Toby. If the government no build back no house for nobody at Jamaica, the government do nothing wrong. So
No,
get
but
that in
listen before we leave that hanging though.
Yeah.
Let me read from something PJ Patterson said. PJ Patterson administration said, following the passage of Hurricane Ivan in 2004, Patterson declared that it was too costly to the state for persons to be allowed to build houses in disaster zones. The country just cannot afford to continue spending funds to rebuild in these same areas, only to have the units destroyed again in a couple of years, Patterson said in Parliament. He added, it is a waste of resources and it has to stop. But more importantly, having seen the extent of the damage caused, including the loss of life, we as a government are duty bound to move these communities out of harm's way. So the government is duty bound, like in the case of Westmoreland and St. Louis and in place there. Like where people live in a certain, like the coastline and them thing there. PJ Patterson is saying the government responsibility is to protect lives. Yeah.
Right. And what he's saying there, Mr. Vegas, is that they won't sanction rebuilding in certain zones.
But what are they gonna do in terms of rebuilding somewhere else? Help, right?
Yeah, Vegas, I hope you would have read that this government, this Andrew Holness-led government, is going to leave what is called purpose-built legislation in Parliament.
Right.
It's almost the same thing as what PJ Patterson said.
Right.
Because
Which we're not object. I don't think any of us are objecting to that.
Hold on.
That's a good thing.
Some of the houses which were destroyed should not be built back where they initially was.
Right.
Mr. Blair. No, that's why me and you can have a conversation. Now you understand why it is inflammatory for people to be saying the government are trying to thief land. Because if the government
some argument I don't really get into Vegas. So
I respect that about. But the narrative where even member of parliament posit, right? You can see it can be dangerous because now PJ Patterson has said it makes no sense to build back houses in an era where are prone to natural disaster, right?
So we're talking about zoning, right? Zoning.
Right. So if Andrew Holness now listen to the people that say, "You can't put back in the house, yes, so you know."
Oh,
you know
Mr. Swear,
you know, what's the problem, Mr. Blair?
Mr. Swear, Mr. Vegas.
Listen, the government need to lay the legislation, purpose-built legislation in Parliament so that no houses should be built.
And I agree with you, because Mr. Blair, you see, enough of them houses were tear down. People not supposed to live in people were not supposed to be living in those conditions in the first place.
Right.
And to put them back in these disaster zones is that the PJ Patterson that about, you know?
Right.
And
So
guess what now, Mr. Blair? PJ Patterson did mandate it, and look what happened. You said PJ Patterson did mandate it,
right.
and relocate the people into safer zones. Maybe some of them people who in a scenario, no?
That's a fact. That's a fact. But let me ask you a question, Mr. Vegas. Are you saying that, because if the government lay the argument properly, and I can't imagine how a responsible person
There's no
would
way.
say the government
There's no, when it comes down to the people, minds are poisoned. When people are going and I say, don't move, don't give up your land, don't move your land.
Yes, remember me a PNP, so you can say that you include me.
Can I borrow up yourself the microphone right quick? Give me about a minute or so. The government do bear a responsibility to help rebuild after disasters through the scope and form of that responsibility. Though the scope and form depends on constitutional mandates, legal frameworks, and social contract. And there are four core government responsibilities: social contract, public welfare obligation, protection of critical infrastructure, and economic stabilization. And they do have some points that will fall under like long-term economic contraction, mass displacement, displacement, market failure, protection to infrastructure like public goods, restoration of essential services, stabilization of communities and the economy, and social contract. Citizens cede authority and pays taxes in exchange for protection of life, property, and public order, and disaster response and recovery fall squarely within that implicit bargain. So as taxpayers that pay property taxes, people that are, expecting the government to do certain things, the government does have a responsibility. So when people come out and say in situations like this, the government has no responsibility, that's erroneous. They don't have full responsibility, but there is an obligation that the government has towards the people always.
Let me respond to you.
That is why the government is giving them some grant to help rebuild.
So hold on. You talk about social contract, right? And you talk about people like Hobbes, John Locke, and Aristotle, right? These are the foundational folks when it comes to social contract. But do we have any such social contract in Jamaica? You're speaking hypothetically, as far as social contract.
Social contract. Citizens cede authority and pay taxes in exchange for protection of life, property, and public order. Disaster response and full recovery squarely within this implicit bargain.
So hold on. I agree with social contract, but is that the social contract that exists in Jamaica?
So in Jamaica, people pay taxes, right?
No, you're speaking in. No, listen.
They give authority to the. No, so I'm just saying. You know what's difficult? When I know you should understand what I'm trying to say.
No, I understand social contract, but you're speaking in abstract. I understand social contract. That's
Genesis.
So it just goes back to yes, the government does have some kind of responsibility.
Well, on a Genesis, but you know, say a lot of these people don't pay taxes.
Right, and that's where I'm going.
Again. We pay taxes in some form or another. So
no. Listen.
Who pays a lot of taxes and who doesn't. A lot of the people that pay taxes will never.
Do you know that? You know that they have the land. Well, man, you know they have the land and they don't pay any taxes for it.
Listen, you know that. Of the people who should be paying taxes, are only 15%
that don't benefit. So it's for the whole country.
Hold on. Of the amount of people who should be legally paying taxes, are only 15% that pay taxes. Seeing? You're speaking about social contract.
The government have all responsibility for the country.
No, hold on. Listen, I'm glad you mentioned social contract, because we need a meaningful one in Jamaica. But you're speaking in abstract, not specific to Jamaica.
We need a lot of reforms in Jamaica, and
I agree.
The government in purpose doesn't do what it does on paper.
You're so right, but that is prescriptive, not descriptive.
As you're on the subject of paying taxes. You will appreciate that a quarter of the population in Jamaica live in squatter or informal settlements.
Plausible.
More than a quarter.
It's a quarter, 700.
They say over 700. They say over 700.
700,000 persons live in informal or squatter settlement.
Okay.
What is sister name?
Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
I hope we can subsequently speak about social contract in Jamaica, because we need one in Jamaica.
We need reforms.
Yes, constitutional reform. Right? But we have to be honest with what is as we speak. If only 15% of those who should be paying taxes are paying taxes, you can see the issue, right?
Yeah, but it's not. They're just at the bottom. It's all the way to the top. So
not disputing that.
There's a lot going on in our country. I was educated in Jamaica, and I used to want to leave Jamaica so bad when I was younger. I wanted to study law and politics, started studying in Jamaica, and I got so mad. Every day in Jamaica, I'd get so mad when I realized certain things. But, people want to go back to Jamaica, and we see the things that are not right in paper and in theory, but in practicality, they're never happening. And we have to now start calling for reforms and start holding our government accountable. We give you taxes.
So I want to say something. Well, on the hub there, I want to say something because I spent like 3 weeks in St. Elizabeth right after the hurricane, and I realized something. I went to some area. I didn't know that there were ponds there. All the years I didn't know that actually ponds were there, active ponds, and beside the ponds, numerous houses. When I see the level houses, I'm wondering if those houses went through the parish council. Because
No.
literally the pan, hold on, Genesis, the pan is higher than the land that is they are building on. If you understand what I'm saying. And I mean, flat, nice land, you know, but the pan is higher than the land. If
Too
you
much
understand. So
boundaries
any little overflow.
Water will come
that
on
whole
the
area,
overflow. Because
yeah,
you see
it goes
around
right.
them pan area there, them always plant rice, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no
let me
rice
finish
no
though.
more.
Let me finish. So
Go ahead.
yeah, let me finish though. But what I'm saying though, all right. So a man put up in nice big house, then, and as somebody alluded earlier about government want to take their lands and stuff. But so this is where we have a challenge now, you know, to relocate people from where they are to other places. So you building a house to someone, you have a fuss with him to build it back where he did there and move on. So we are talking about building house to people, and it's gonna take a decision where we have to sit down and talk to them. It's not gonna say, because if me say me not build the house as the government here, and you other man say you want to build it. But we do. What do we do? What do we do then?
You believe yourself?
So do like America, right? Do like in America, right? You have some of these areas where them say 100-year flood zones and support, right? And in a normal polity, if you take a greater risk, your insurance is going to increase, right? And the problem is that people have this socialist or communist expectation that the government should bail them out wholly. Now, if you choose to build in an area that the government deem not to be adequate, you're taking on all the risk. I think that's just what it is. In a free state, you can't really control people to 100% within reason, right? But if people choose to take on certain risk, the onus is on them, and they shouldn't then reach out to the government for bail out.
But what I'm saying is the government gonna rebuild the house, you know. So how that they go? Is the government gonna hold that apart? That's what I'm saying.
No, if the government is rebuilding the house, the government chooses where to rebuild the house, not the people.
That's what I think. But guess what? Now here the argument gonna be. Government want to take away my land. You know, understand me? I said to you, that is
No,
we gonna come up, you know.
We can't engage people properly, man. The government can't tell the people, explain to the people, technically to explain to them that, listen, this area is not zoned for homes.
You think it that easy?
No, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Hold on. I'm not saying it's easy, you know. I'm not saying easy, but what the government got to bend to the people and will if it's not prudent?
No. But guess that is a problem. But when other people
Makes a lot of things difficult, and conversation is because the playing of politics and
yes. How do we get to the point now when other people are running the narrative? How will convince you when the next man I tell you other thing? Tell me how that go.
One, the government needs to stop the back and forth and arguing with people so people can start taking them seriously. That's something we know. Because people don't take them seriously because they like to cuss out people, you know, and they need to. We haven't had reforms since forever. Since we got independence, we have never seen a proper reform where they stop, take stock, do certain things and say we're going to do a system overhaul and we're going to, come out with certain legislatives and we're going to work on these things and we're asking for the buy-in of the people. We're going to have town hall meetings. We're going to have referendums. They don't do that. So it's just like that's the point where we're at now, where people need to start asking for a reform, for a referendum, for town hall meetings, and for the government to start acting in a professional way and stop cussing out people whenever they get feedback, I
agree with the cussing out type part. But you see, that's why we were supposed to have the constitutional reform, right? And it didn't work out, and we need to revisit that. We need to revisit the constitutional reform. But if we're going to progress in the country, we cannot continue going backward with what we do.
The constitutional reform made a backlog or a standstill because of one specific reason. Jamaica's final appellate court. The only time we are going to have constitutional reform is when the whole aspect of our final court of appeal has been dealt with.
Can I say something?
We will never have constitutional reform. We'll never be a republic. Because to be a republic, it takes 2/3 majority in the House, which necessitates that the government and the opposition must be singing from the same hymn book. Until we are not going to have constitutional reform in Jamaica.
Is it that simple as 2/3 majority in the parliament to get it done? Because we had 2/3.
Huh? No party had 2/3 right now.
No, prior to now.
Was it 2/3? Probably close, but I don't think it was. Well,
Yeah, man, it was that. I don't think it have to be more than 2/3. It's not. I don't think it's 2/3.
I think it entrenched.
We had 2/3 the last
I think
time.
it entrenched the opposition as well as saying.
Yeah, man.
It's entrenched, right? Entrenched.
Yeah.
Entrenched, right? So I think it was 2/3, but there were multiple issues though.
The problem though is that I think the government should put it to the people, and the opposition don't want that. Put a referendum to the people as who is the final court. Let the people decide. And
hold on.
Take it from there.
Hold on.
Hold on. Let me just make this point. If you
You're going to say no, not.
If you put the constitutional reform and our final.
No, man, the referendum for the final court.
No, man, the referendum.
To the people.
Yeah. You put it to the people.
To the people, yeah.
But hold on. You have to take into consideration that the possibility exists that the people will vote to keep the Privy Council. But my
Whatever
question,
they vote, they will not think about that. Put it to the people. We don't want to hear that. Put it to the people.
wait for the question. You answer before the question. Does Jamaica have a right to the Privy Council?
So, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing because it's funny.
Now you see, we got the people. You can put the referendum to the people, and the people vote to continue with the council. And the Privy Council tomorrow morning can say.
People can't decide.
Why the people decided? Why the people decided when Bustamante did put it to the people? Then they said put it to the people. Then why they can't decide now? Like a Bustamante did suggest.
A
So
referendum.
three choices: whether England, the Caribbean, or Jamaica. So that is why I should put to the people then to decide. They have three options.
So, do you think people would prefer a CCJ than the Privy Council?
Why not prefer Jamaica then?
No, Andrew wanna say we can use Jamaica as a final court.
If we have a judicial system that can be trusted.
So you trust the Trinidad judicial system, the CCJ judicial system?
No.
So what?
No, but I'm saying, are we comfortable with the judicial system in Jamaica right now?
Can I say though, isn't trust in that system kind of narrow down to what you think, to what
the Jamaican system
and what they get? Any system at all, any system, the American system, the British system, Canadian system, isn't it what you think make you get trust?
So we need a reform in the judicial system as well.
But I'm saying, well, man, personal. Isn't it personal when it comes down to that, to systems?
It's not personal, it's experiential.
Wait, no, man. Isn't it to each person? go to the Caribbean. And if I Caribbean country, you can't go straight there. So how we go? So we have to
I
have
feel
money for
if you
expense.
in most things you want a level of balance and fairness and justice, and you might have to bring in outside stakeholders that doesn't have a vested interest.
Let me put some context. Let me put some context to this.
Right.
During the
Mr.
during
Blake,
the,
go ahead, Mr. Blake. I'm like to talk to you. Go ahead.
during the 1990s, right? The People's National Party, led by P.J. Patterson, wanted to remove the Privy Council and to replace the Privy Council with a Caribbean Court of Justice. You will realize that to remove the Privy Council, you can remove the Privy Council by a simple majority in Parliament. The opposition,
You can't pass.
the opposition and the government does not have to vote to remove the Privy Council. But whatsoever you are replacing the Privy Council with must be entrenched in our Constitution. The follow-up to that is that when P.J. Patterson went and along with the rest of Caribbean and formed the Caribbean Court of Justice, Mr. Seaga was leader of the opposition at that time.
Right.
Right? The government at that time figured more or less you could just replace the Privy Council to a simple majority. Take them the same way you take them out, is the same way you implement in your court.
Did Mr. Seaga sue and prevail?
Well, hold on. When they wanted to install the Caribbean Court of Justice, Mr. Seaga took it to the court. He took it to the Privy Council. And the Privy Council said, while you can move the court by a simple majority, any court which you are going to replace it with must be entrenched in the Constitution. That means
it needed two sides. That means it needed two sides now. So you agree on it.
And the
That's what you're
government
saying.
have to come
Have to agree on it.
Right.
You need a 2/3 majority. Or
So,
whatever.
hear me now. Me have to end a live at 9 o'clock, yeah?
Yeah, man. Well, let me see now. Mr. Patterson and Mr. Seaga had a discussion. And Mr. Seaga said, okay, he will allow the CCJ to be Jamaican final appellate court. But he wants to see the court run for 10 years.
So you, Blair, Mr. Blair, let me address you by your last name. So why you think Jamaica can't have them final court of justice?
No, man, I'm coming to that. Hi, Felicia, good evening. I'm coming to that. The agreement between Mr. Seaga and Mr. Patterson, when they
all of them agreement they need to dash away.
Now, hold on, man. Hold on. No. If I put some context to everything, so that your question can be answered. Mr. Patterson and Mr. Seaga met at Bill Raya. Mr. Seaga said after 10 years, he would want a review of the judgment of the CCJ to see how they administer the court. After 10 years, judgment are sold similar to what would have obtained in the Privy Council. Right? Just after that judgment, Mr. Seaga was replaced as leader of the JLP by Mr. Bruce Golding. Mr. Bruce Golding said he would prefer to have Jamaica have its own final court of appeal.
Right.
Yeah, he went and did a commission, do a feasibility study. When he did the study, when the study came back, there was two issues which they said Jamaica could not have its own.
Who said it though? Who said that?
Who said it? Where that information?
Listen to the man talk.
No, listen. The review that Bruce Golding asked, and I'm not sure which one of the lawyer did it. I don't think it was Dr. Lightman, but he instituted a commission to look on the possibility of Jamaica having its final appellate court. When they came back to Mr. Golding, there were two issues. One, they said the resources which is needed from man-court, financial resources, Jamaica could not afford it. And two,
That's true.
All right, guys.
I'm
Hear this,
madness.
I know.
Anybody come back with that report, they need to go check them mental.
No,
health.
no, man. We're not free to
hold on, let me finish
read the
the
report.
So what am I go overseas then?
Come on, let me finish.
Yeah. I'm not saying the report is not there, you know, but I'm saying the person who put that report together.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Because we're in a different window economically now.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Right.
Let him finish.
The second problem which they had is that Jamaica would be competing to sit on the bench with the CCJ, because we would have enough jurists to sit on the benches in the Caribbean Court of Justice and also
Juries are
final
judge.
court
Juries are
in
judge.
Jamaica.
Juries.
The Prime Minister Andrew Furness said he would want to go to the people.
Which is right.
Which is right. No, that's no I hear. That's what I know I hear. That's no I hear.
But in the last debate, which took place prior to the September 3rd election, the Prime Minister said he is considering to have Jamaica having its own final court of appeal. The People's National Party and the opposition is adamant that they want the Caribbean.
The CCJ. The CCJ.
That is where the problem sits right now.
But
Hear me now. Thank you guys, everyone, for joining the live. Thanks all of my guests for participating.
Alex.
This was a great very educational. Thank you.
Listen, I'm gonna give my bridging pop popular a follow and follow everybody, and you know, yeah, man, you don't know. I one of them things. About 4 hour live, me running now, brother, man. Me kind of want some rest. Let's see so.
Rest up yourself.
Yeah, man.
We should consider that.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, man.
Good conversation too.
Yeah, man.
Okay, John, I'll come back and we will continue the discussion.
Say nothing, man. You know, say
the
always you player. You know, say we are come ready now, you player. You know, you always welcome. You know, I mean, no care what labor right boy fit here say. We are still Michael Manley PG. We have still Michael Manley PNP till the end till my last breath. So we are not afraid, but here we go.
People are going to come have work through this little boy. Remember, say scholarship didn't win. Him get that.
Yes.
And him a working way. Watch it look you. Him a working.
Thank you.
Set of people who fought for their freedom, not for the rest, but just for their freedom, their specific freedom, not for the rest. And and just allow them to reside as they are. So nothing was followed. No white men were sent to live among them after some time. No governor appointing anyone to rule over them. So yeah. So right there and then there was no oversight, to call it that. Nobody provided future or further oversight. They were just allowed to live. And they, within themselves, maintained most of their traditions. They maintained most of their traditions.
So,
Yeah.
not to cut you,
That's fine.
Bookman, but I think Miss Hopewell wants to interject because
Yes,
she wants to
please.
say-
Yes,
she wants
she
to be
may.
devil's advocate. Let me hear her. Welcome, Miss Hopewell.
Good night, Madam Clerk. Good night, you Honorable Magistrate. Good night, Mr. Bookman.
Good night.
To the other members of the court. I just wanted to make a small point of interjection as I listened to you. Something came to my mind. You may have said this before, because sometimes I go in and out when these discussions are happening. But what I wanted to say, when I say I want to play devil's advocate, if we understand history, historically what the Maroons did, what the British colonists did, and what the Maroons did in terms of the agreement that they both had together was not a novel idea. And why I say this, if we look at the slave trade itself and the quote unquote what I would want to say, I want to use the right word, and the success, right? I use that word loosely. The success of the slave trade in itself would not have been at all possible, right? Without the assistance of fellow blacks, right? Turning over their black brothers and sisters to white colonial masters to help the slave trade being prosperous and successful. So when I'm listening, it just came back to my mind that what the British did, maybe in their mind, they were fully aware of what happened in Africa, on the African coast. And so were the Maroons, who were descendants of slaves themselves. So the agreement that they signed together was not a novel idea. It was not the first in history. It was done before.
May I respond to that now, Ms. Powell? Mrs. Powell?
Hopewell.
All right. I spoke with the clerk earlier via messaging, and one of the things I said to her was that I had a live where we were going to discuss slavery before I come to this court. And what you've just raised is exactly one of the things we discussed.
Oh, wow.
No.
Yes, that's true.
One of the presenters was at pains to point out, which is a fact, that we do not continue to perpetuate this British lie that we sold each other, right? And let me just state why I say that. Because one of the things that happened in African kingdoms back then was that, yes, different tribes went to war. Different tribes captured the defeated. However,
may I interject 1 second? Remember, I did not use the word.
Just let me finish my point, and then you can respond. But we did not sell each other. Those that were captured were incorporated into the dominant tribe, right? The women, the children became a part of that tribe to build a stronger tribe where they would invade other tribes, right? It is not until the Spain came, and Columbus and others, and started to round up people, right? And bring them in an effort for profit, right? Yes, we would capture different tribes within our continent. However, those tribes weren't captured for sale. They were captured and and incorporated into the dominant tribe. So you can respond.
Point taken. But you notice I didn't even say the word sold. I said for it to have been successful, right? It would have required that some kind of agreement. I didn't use the word sold. And the other thing is I'm using my history, right, to put into context. Now I'm going backward and forward historically. So I'm like, okay, the Atlantic slave trade happened then. So were the British colonialists aware in the back of their mind, in their discussions in coming up, let's get a treaty with the Maroons, because we still need this labor. They're a fearful set of people. So I'm going backward and forward in my mind historically, looking at the Atlantic slave trade, going forward with the agreement of 1734 and saying, were they aware, right? Was this forefront in their mind when they were making this treaty with the Maroons? That's where I'm going.
Yes. And if I follow what you're saying, I would have to make reference to the tribes like the Incas that are found in places like Mexico, Guatemala. They also had the same or similar way of life. They had different dominant tribes. They would capture other tribes and incorporate them in their tribe. But we didn't find much evidence of those population being captured and sold, right?
Right, but it was so when I think of the Atlantic slave trade, right, because I wouldn't say necessarily sold, because I could not see, right? I'm trying to, in my mind, conjure up what was happening, right? I'm creating visual effects. So I'm saying during the Atlantic slave trade, I could not see white colonialists giving blacks anything of substance, right? But it was a convincing cooperation that was taking place there. You understand what I'm saying? Because I can't see, if I go back historically to the Atlantic slave trade, where whites were saying how they viewed blacks, giving them anything of value. But what they did was they did a convincing cooperation, kind of negotiation to say, listen, we need you to help us in this kind of way. So when I move forward now in history, I'm saying, were the British colonial masters using their knowledge? I'm like seeing them around a table kind of situation where they saying, okay, in the Atlantic slave trade, they actually had some success because they had this cooperation, this agreement. Maybe we can use that similar style to get the Maroons on our side. You know what I'm saying? So that is how I was trying to bridge the gap there.
But the Europeans already had done that in places like India and other countries that they had colonized. They are coming from a history where they were once colonized by the Romans. So they are coming with history on their side, personal history as well. So nothing that they did in Africa is really new to them. You know?
Right. That's why I said it was a novel. It was not a novel concept. So I agree with you there 100%. And I yield back my time.
Thank you for coming up and sharing. I really appreciate it.
Listen, I love history. I was a history major in college, so I wanted to be an attorney, but I went the other way. I went the medical way, so whatever. But still a love for history, because history is a correlation of dates and data, and to be a lawyer is almost the same thing. So, and I love this kind of discussion. I'm in my element here.
Thank you, Ms. Hopewell. Thank you. So, go ahead, Your Honor.
Yes, so in terms of what you were saying earlier about the ownership of the land, the British would never ever give them any land.
No, not at all. No, they would never, because the planters at that time were what we call it. They were really the boss. They were really the boss, and they wouldn't give up anything that easy. You know, it's not until 2015 that all this money that was finished paid compensation for the slave trade. Just 2015, banks in the UK like Lloyds and Barclays finally got the payment, the debt to the planters off the books. 2015. It's in today's money, they would say it's 20 million pounds, 25 million pounds would be roughly 40. At that time, it would be like 14 trillion today. That was paid to them as compensation for loss of property because the end of slavery. So when we talk about reparations, it is more than a valid argument that we need our hospitals, we need our schools, we need our universities to be built from that 14 trillion that the planters got.
Oh. But the British came here some time ago and I don't think they are planning on giving us any money. Michelle?
Do you know what's the shocking truth? They came and we were offered what? A prison.
Wow, yes.
Do you know the person who offered the prison is a descendant of a planter that owned a plantation in Jamaica?
Court members, are we listening? We're listening our history, and that is why I am yet to have in this court the fund that the British gave to us is a meager sum. They should have done better. They should have done better as our head of state technically, and would have slaved us for many years. They should have done better. America has done better. Other parts of the world, and they just scarcely give us anything. I yield to Madam Mitchell.
Good evening, Your Honor. My apologies for being late for court. Good evening, Madam Clerk Angel, and good evening, Dottie, and good evening to all in the live room.
Good evening, darling.
Yes.
So, Bookman, can you repeat what you stated that after all these years, what did the British came and offer?
No, up to date, they have not even accepted to apologize. They have not apologized up to date. They have not apologized yet, and they have not agreed to reparations. The Church of England, though, stated that they should apologize. And shortly after that, the head of the church had to resign.
Wow.
That was about 2015, right?
Yes.
No, that was about 2019, 2020, somewhere there.
Okay. All right.
But they are quick to offer a prison to make a prison here that costs millions of dollars.
Okay. So, all right. Again, because of ongoing conversation that we've been having, can we let the court know how much land how much land is in the treaty? Because a lot of people are getting it and saying wrong numbers, Mr. Bookman. And so for clarity and for informational purpose, folks are saying it is 150,000. I don't know where them get that. And so for clarification, how much land was stated in this treaty?
Give me 2 seconds and I'll bring that. Give me about 2 minutes, and I'll bring that up.
Okay, thank you. So, Your Honor, just give me a second. Marsha, if you want to add something, I just got in and I wanted to play a clippings from this morning on Nationwide because I wanted to show that like what the judge says, Marsha, when we're on here talking, we have to be careful. We have to make sure that things that we're stating on here is factual, because people are listening. And so there was a lady on Cliff Hughes this morning that literally spoke on the conversation that was happening on this live. So I'm going to play it for you.
Really?
Yes, but go ahead and if you want to add, and I'll download. I'm gonna find the clip and send it right back, Your Honor.
Okay. The main thing that I've always said consistently, Your Honor, in these discussions, there are key years if persons want to, in my humble opinion, understand the relation between the British and the Maroons, and that is from 1663, and then sorry, my brain is frying. 1670 to 1690, and again back 1728, and then the treaty 1740, and all the way up to the 1792. Those are the main period that we all need to school ourselves on the history, and then the Second Maroon War, regarding that caused the treaty back in 1739 and 1740. What a lot of persons have, in my humble opinion, failed to understand is that if Jamaica becomes a republic, the Maroon themselves will just become another historical period in Jamaica history, and under the new constitution, it would be this current government, if they are able to get everything passed, would have to sit down with them to create a new form of cultural existence within the Jamaica itself, full stop. So understanding that and acknowledging is important, especially underneath the Second Maroon War. But overall, the issue of whether or not they are a sovereign nation within a country has already been decided. They are Jamaicans. As much as Marsha Mitchell is born Jamaican, cannot speak that much patois, I am Jamaican by birth. And so is the Maroons. And they cannot leave the island of Jamaica unless they have some form of dual citizenship and or sorry, my brain injury is really kicking in this evening. Diplomatic privileges without carrying that blue book. The blue book, full stop, acknowledge that they are Jamaicans first, regardless of cultural existence within the country of Jamaica. They are Jamaicans first.
And not only first, Marsha, the ID and the passport is a national Jamaican ID. And regardless, for you to even receive a green card, you have to have a passport first. You know, Marsha, for you to get a green card, for the 160 people on here, for you to receive a green card, you have to have a national ID, a passport first and foremost. And so you cannot get a maroon passport or a maroon ID. It is a Jamaica government issue ID. You are Jamaican first, and Jamaican is what you are. Maroon is a culture. And so regardless of what it is, the bottom line is you are a Jamaican with a Jamaica government passport. If you will allow me before we allow
Go ahead.
When you're ready, I'll
okay, I want to play this short.
Get to the point where we understand it's Christmas now. Christmas. Canada is on the line. Good morning, Canada.
Good morning, Cliff. How are you?
I'm good. Wishing you all the best for the season.
Good. And the same to you and your staff at NNN.
Good.
I was actually on TikTok the other night. But you know, I always have to come to the true source for information. I was informed that there is a card that is issued in a compound. And I would equate it when I was asking a couple of questions. Like, for example, in Canada, you have the First Nation, can call them Aboriginal, the First Nation people. They do have a tax-exempt card. So I was duly informed in that chat, and I asked a couple of questions, that they are selling these cards, and people are going around saying, you know, it's for tax exemption, and people are saying that they've taken it to the United States in order to open bank accounts. A lot of people were detesting that it's not valid. And I know it would not be valid, but have you ever heard anything like that?
In a compound town? A card?
Yes.
What kind of card?
Yes, like there's a card. So it's more like they're saying it's, as I was trying to explain to you, more like a tax-exempt card, just like the First Nation in Canada.
Oh.
They have, when they go to any places, they have a card and they're tax exempt. And then there's one renowned person actually is selling those cards, I was told, and it's there. And he went into an establishment in Montego Bay run by a politician, and he took his card out because this young lady said she works there and she works with a politician. So he came and he showed his card that he's not, and he's exempt because he's a maroon. And they're like, no, this is not valid, and we're not taking it. And he created a like, excuse me? Why would anybody be doing that? Okay, I'll see. I'll no. Something came up. I saw something on the chat, and because I'm watching you while talking. So.
Well, let me tell you. It's the first time I'm hearing of any such tax-exempt card being issued in a compound. In St. Elizabeth by the leadership of the Maroons there. It's the first time I'm hearing of that. I know that some years ago, there was an effort to introduce a currency. I think it was a Lumi currency, for Maroons to use. But I don't think anything came of that. You have a radio in the background, Lumi, Canada? You hear me, Lumi? Canada?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Don't. You're a little echoey. I don't. Yes. I have you on a regular phone.
Okay. It's no longer there.
That person in the chat. One second, Cliff. There's somebody in the chat who knows me, but I mean, like, why are you calling my government name? Like, why? I'm not a thief. Come on. You know my name, Cliff. You know my full name.
Yes.
Like, come on. Yeah. Go ahead, Cliff.
Yeah, so I'm saying I'm not aware of this so-called tax-exempt card. What I do know about was there was an effort some years ago to establish what they were calling a currency for Maroons to use in Jamaica, in Maroon country, our territory. Lumi, L-U-M-I. And there was a big controversy over it and how valid it was in relation to the laws governing the issuance of currency in Jamaica. But no, this is new to me.
Well, I mean, even in the chat, people are calling the name because The guy was LA, and he they're saying because it was on TikTok, and I said, let me ask Cliff on Monday if he has ever heard like a card. It's not like the money; it's like a card where you're exempt. Because here in Canada, you're exempt.
That certainly. Yeah, no standing here in Jamaica. If that were if that were so, we would have known about it, would have reported it, and we haven't done so.
Thank you. So I hope, I don't know if Marsha remember, we were having this conversation the other night. I don't know if the guests were here as well when this was a part of our conversation. And I don't remember if it was Kimmy, but someone was on the live that was saying the same person went into Montego Bay into an establishment and was trying to get, you remember the conversation? So that's what I'm saying, guys.
I'm aware.
You know, I like the fact that people are literally fact checking and hearing and seeing things for themselves. I like that she went to Cliff Hughes and asked this information. Is it factual? Is it true? Can you take a maroon ID and go to the US and open it? Because she said it. They even said they went to the US and opened a bank account with this ID. And so I wanted to play that because I wanted to let the audience know that just like the judge always say, Marsha and myself, and for Bookman, anything that we say, you can fact check. You can go and find it for yourself. You can go and find it for yourself.
Thank you, Tina.
All right. Thank you. So that was a little small intermission. Let's go back to Mr. Bookman with the question that I asked him.
Yes.
Your Honor, I do want, can I say something before Mr. Bookman speak on this? I want to commend you, and I want to commend Angel and even the moderators. This is the reason why context matters. It is essential that when one comes into these boxes, they bring their research. Their research may not be evidence-based, but they bring their research and we can deep dive into it. The reason why I was so adamant that day on this live, because I understand the international implication of such gross statements. And we have to be mindful. We are all born Jamaicans, whether living on the island or living off the island, but there's a broader audience out there that may be on the For You page and or get a copy of these lives, and then they themselves will, who are in position of authority, will demand direct answer in regards to these allegations that are made. And it can have grave impact, not only on our relations with other government and other agencies, but also geopolitics relations. Because there are treaties in the UN. Remember that Jamaica is, and or its representatives, that prohibits such things. And you, when individuals make these gross negligent statements, you're putting the country of Jamaica at risk to be scrutinized. It is not something we take lightly, and or I think the government will take lightly when you're inserting such fallacy on the current government and also the Bank of Jamaica. That is gross on so many levels. And I hope that that gentleman, AKA Chop City or whatever acronym or username he decide to use, will make an apology, because it can have grave consequences. SWIFT could immediately be stopped. Remittance could be stopped. the same bank stock shares could fall. The Federal Reserve can get involved, and it is wrong. It is wrong. So when persons comes in this box, make sure you're going to be fact checked, because you never know where the information can end up. And the gentleman, it stands on integrity first. Judge Sims stands on integrity, and we must understand that. We may be in this mock virtual courtroom, but we have a moral obligation to represent the information and also the country of Jamaica.
Very well said, Madam Mitchell. Very well said.
Thank you.
To date, he has not come to clear his case, and we asked him several times to prove what he's saying. Not for me, but for the 16,000 people that passed the live on Saturday night. 16,000. And that lady was a part of it, and she seek to get clarity, to find out if this is so. So that is why I implore, I encourage, I speak to let people know, so listen, we are not here for the regular live like Jamaica Empress. This is not the regular live where we talk about politics and all of those things. This is not for you right here. We have been looking at the Treaty of the Maroons. We are not talking our own opinion and our feel alike. We're not coming from emotion, right? We are looking at the actual document. We are actually looking at it. So it's not that, okay, we're in the treaty, is that you can look at the treaty for yourself. There's nothing hidden. There's nothing that we have privately that we are discussing here. What we are talking about is from the treaty. It's not our opinion. So here she's saying corruption is rampant in Jamaica. If I should ask her to come up in the box and to say, where is the corruption? Do you know of any that you can point to? She will not come.
But she'll have to come. She won't come because she don't have facts to back her argument.
Yes. So Jamaica Empress, I would ask you to listen. I will not accept your request. I want you to listen. Go and get the treaty and then come with the treaty before you, that we can discuss the treaty. We are not discussing your emotions. We are not discussing Andrew Wellness. We are not discussing Mark Golding. We are looking at whatever issue there arise, and we have proof or evidence can look into it. These recordings, also Madam Clark, Angel, they are on other YouTube thing, and they are posting them and things like that. So what we say here, it must align with truth, because we can be sued, we can get in trouble. So
Also, Your Honor, for S. Pendergrass, that stated, he stated or she stated before that these IDs are they have been used all over to open bank accounts. And I wrote and said, please tell me which bank in the USA you can get one with this ID. And then so the person wrote back and said, I can find out. And he said, I can find out and get that information back to you. Please do that, because we spoke about this for a whole week now, where we had a gentleman up here that stated the same thing, and I told him to bring me the proof of this. This is not hard for you to find out. You can Google Wells Fargo and it will tell you what is required to open a bank account. You can Google any bank, Bank of America, Chase, TD Bank, Canada Bank, and they will tell you what is required. So you don't need to go and come back. This information is at your fingertip right now. And so we went through that already, but let's just continue, Your Honor. Dr. Bookman, I'm sorry. That was a long.
Just a question. Just a minute, sir, Bookman. There's a question for Jamaica Empress. She's combative, and we are not allowing that kind of display on this platform. She asked a question. So if you want to ask a question, Jamaica, with all the respect, we will just read your question and answer you. You said the Maroon Treaty is recognized by the United States. Is there any time we said that the Maroon Treaty is not recognized anywhere outside of Jamaica? We have not been discussing those things. Bookman, can you shed a little light on it now, please?
On what? The question, will the treaty be recognized outside?
Yes. United Nations or wherever it is. We are not debating that.
It's the United Nations is referred to the United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People is what most persons always refer to. It's in Article, I think, 43 of that Indigenous Act, if I'm not mistaken, and that's what most persons refer to. But you can go ahead, Dottie.
Yeah, I think you just said it, Marsha. Recognize indigenous people. I don't know of recognizing the treaty itself.
Thank you.
All right, so but what Marsha said is correct, recognizing them as a group of people.
You, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yes, so the acreage of land that was given.
Hold on a second. Sorry, Dottie. It just came to my head the year that actually happened. 2007, Article 43. In that year of the assemble, I always think of it. September 13, 2007, Article 43. That they could look that up. That's when it was put into the UN Assembly and also in the Declaration of Rights. Go ahead. Sorry.
Right. So the acreage of land that was given to the Kodjo and his people was to the amount of 1,500 acres bearing northwest from the said Trelawney town. So 1,500 acres.
Okay. For Empress, Jamaica
Oh, I'm
Empress.
sorry.
I'm sorry, Empress, just a moment. I mute the young lady that was talking just now because she told the judge to go and learn how to read. And we do not take disrespect in this courtroom. And so because you wrote, you should learn to go and read, I muted her. Didn't block you, I muted you. You can stay and listen. And so like Marsha just explained to you, there's two different things. Acknowledgement of a tribe or a culture is not the same thing as you also stated that the USA recognize the Maroon. It is recognize the Maroon or accept the Maroon ID. No such thing. If you mention and said the UN recognize the Maroon Treaty or the indigenous people, it's two different things as well. We have to be clear on what we're talking about. And so I muted her. You could come back to court on Saturday night if you really want to bring your case before the judge, and we will hear you further. But for tonight, we don't want any distraction. And so I muted you because you started to become disrespectful. But sorry.
Yeah.
Suffer, I see you wanted to talk.
Yes. First of all, I wanted to say, Mr. Bookman, thank you for your knowledge. I followed you.
You're most welcome.
And I'm going to send you a message because I intend on doing something on TikTok about the Caribbean history, where chattel slavery is concerned. There's a lot of misinformation in the United States about it, and they don't understand that we all were basically fighting for our freedoms. Roughly around the same time, actually at the same time, right? So I'm going to do something, and I would like to have you joining with me. So I'm going to instant message you my my contact information. Are you living in the States?
No, I'm in the UK, but
you're in the UK. Okay, no problem.
I'm on different lives having to do with Black history all the time.
Good. I would love to dialogue with you some more.
No problem.
Bring you on along. Yeah, so when it comes to the indigenous people of the United States, especially Indians, they have a tribal card, right? And that tribal card is acknowledged in the United States and Canada because of the indigenous people in the United States back and forth. They can use that card to open up their bank account here in the United States because it's a federal issued ID card, right? Not anyone can get a tribal card here in the US, right? You have to prove through blood that you are indigenous to the United States. The maroon card that I'm hearing about it's not recognized. One, it's not a national ID card issued by the country of Jamaica. It is, if you want to use it around around Trelawney or wherever you want to use it to show, okay, yeah, I'm from up here, whatever, yeah, fine. But it's not a recognized ID card, right? It's not legit. I'm going to give to Caesar what is due to Caesar. And thank God for the Maroons and what they did. Had they not done what they did, we may have never seen our freedom when we did. We would have never been granted our freedoms. Even though we were still under colonial rule until we gained our independence, but even then we still didn't really gain our independence because we're still have to report to the Privy Council for anything. We still have a Governor General who's the head of, not basically head of state, but he represents England, right, in all entity. But I'm going to give the Maroons, Queen Nanny, her so-called traitorous brother, and the rest of them who signed that treaty without thinking of the betterment of all slaves on the island. I'm going to give them their credit. Thank you for all that y'all have done for us, because without you, England would have never given us our freedom. So thank you, Maroons. I appreciate it. I thank you with all my heart. We have to, and I'm glad I see what you're doing, Judge and court clerk. You're holding these people feet to the fire, and they cannot go around spreading misinformation. They're being separatists. We're all one Jamaican. We're all one Jamaican, regardless whether you're Maroon or where you're from. You're Coolie, you're Chinese, whatever. We're all one Jamaican. We're no separatists here. We all were done an injustice, not only by England, but also by Spain. Spain is the first one. And I think Spain needs to be held accountable as far as the reparations is concerned too. Both Spain and England share equal blame in all of this that took place here in the Americas and in Jamaica, all across the globe. They share full responsibility. Both countries do. But I don't hear anybody talking about Spain. I hear them talk about England, but I don't hear them talk about Spain. And I'm a rest right there.
All right, thank you. Well said. I'm going to.
Snapper, before you go, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Like you acknowledge Maroon and what they did, there are some historians that believe had it not been for the Maroons, we would have had full emancipation like Haiti, had they not been suppressing all the rebellions. What do you think about that?
Yes, I believe if certain, not all of them actually signed that treaty. Of course, like you said, Nanny did not sign it. They went behind her back and they signed, right? I believe if they did not sign it, I believe that we would have gotten our freedoms much earlier, and slavery would have been. They would have to give us our independence right then and there. However, you have to look at cause and effect. And had they given us our independence the same way that Haiti had gotten their independence from France, where would that put us right now? Would we be in the same situation as Haiti? Because look at what they did to Haiti. It wasn't because they gave Haiti their independence, because those slaves whooped them into submission, and they felt, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make them pay economically. We're going to take their gold. We're going to take their resources. We're going to make them pay us 4 or 5 times over what they owe us. We're going to keep our foot on their neck one way or the other. We're going to oppress them one way or the other. So I say that one hand washes the other, where that is concerned with how the Maroons dealt with it. You look at it as traitorous, but I also look at it as strategic. Where, the British could have came in and they could have wiped out. They could have wiped them out. I mean, they had all the technology in the upper hand to do so. The only difference that the Maroons had was the Maroons was fighting a different warfare, guerrilla warfare, where the British wasn't used to that. We was hitting them and running and hiding in the bushes and doing what we were doing, and they weren't used to fighting like that. And we would come down at night and do what we do. They weren't used to that. So we did have the upper hand there, but technology-wise, they could have done some damage. And there's a treaty that was signed. It gave them their autonomy, which, but then to what accord? Out of the 16 chapters or pages in the treaty, only 2 really applies to the Maroons, and the rest belongs to the Brits. So how much autonomy do you really have? You live to fight another day, hence the Second Maroon War. But then look at what happened after the Second Maroon War. They started deporting those slaves back into Nova Scotia and Sierra Leone. So what did we gain there? What did we gain? So, one hand washes the other. I'm not going to take credit away from the Maroons. They put up a good fight. They did what they needed to do. Because of that, the British says, you know what? No more slavery. No more transatlantic trade slave. We're gonna end it. It's inhumane. We're not going to do it. We're going to stop. All because of what happened in Haiti and what happened in Jamaica.
Yeah, I agree with most of what you said, that we could have had a different outcome had we achieved our freedom just as Haiti. But it's not really the Maroons that brought an end to the slavery. It was the pre-Christmas rebellion or the rebellion of Sam Sharp after Christmas Day. I will go through that in detail in another night. I will afford the judge an opportunity for us to look at the Sam Sharp rebellion and how that ended slavery.
Yeah, and I'm going to say that they all play a hand-in-hand role.
Yeah, so I would agree with you. They did play some part by getting that partial freedom, I would call it. Partial freedom. Because it wasn't full freedom, but they got a partial freedom.
Yes.
Yeah. So yes, I do agree with most of what you said. Our outcome could have been similar to Haiti had we gotten full emancipation there and then.
Yes.
Okay, I want to hear from Empress. She's been up here for a minute. Empress?
Good evening, everyone.
Good night.
Okay, so I was that person that called Cliff this morning. I was that person.
Hey, welcome.
Mr. Your Honor, good evening, good night, Your Honor, and your wonderful Clerk, good evening. I was that person. We know that we have a lot of mis and disinformation spreading on the internet, but when I walked into your guys' room on Saturday night, I realized there was a difference. And the difference, I find the decorum, the respect, the facts, and having people being held to, the standard of bringing the information, right? My doing Cliff, because Cliff really knows me. Because if you listen to the thing, there's somebody there that was calling out my government name in it, and I blurred my government because Cliff knows me for years. He knows me, and he knows my name. So, a lot of time when I call people like, oh, why you allow Canada to call and she doesn't have to, he knows my name. He knows what I do. So fast forward to what I heard, it was actually for them to start an investigation into it. And I don't know if you guys realize that's what I did.
No, I know.
It was definitely to say, okay, Cliff, and I gave you guys props Saturday night because you asked the questions. You did ask the questions. Come up here if you say something. There was somebody in the chat that was actually talking about, when you were playing it, and she's like rubbish about Canada. That person doesn't live in Canada. And if anybody is, I don't know, Jennifer is in Canada. And Marcia, I've spoken to Marcia on the app before. Marcia is in Canada, out west, I think. But people in Canada know, as the gentleman alluded to, that they don't call them Indigenous anymore. They said the First Nation. Right. First Nation is issued a card. When I was going through university, you had they would come in because I worked with Bell, and I sold phones during the time, right? And they would always come in with their exempt card, and they were exempt. Not everything, but most of everything, especially liquor, right? So they are exempt. So they walk around with this card. So remember, Saturday night, if you remember, I was the one who was asking Your Honor and asking in the chat, is this like a card that Canada Indigenous people have? You remember that? And you guys says, no, nothing like that. Nothing like that. And the person spoke about LA and, wanting to actually, sell these cards. So I need validation. I'm not a social media like on the TikTok thing. I do not speak. I am a media person. I am a fact finder. I read. I go through to source. Now, when we talk about the marooned, I think every Jamaican, every Black person who their ancestors were taken across the Middle Passage and came to the West need to take a visit to Ghana. Guys, you would cry.
Yes.
You would cry. It is painful. I did it, I think, 2021, right in COVID. And I did it. I went with my girls and the grandkids, and we all went to Ghana because my college son is from Ghana. And I took him out under my arm, as everybody says, out of school, because he came, joking around in school. And I said, come on, boy, you can't be here wasting your parents' money, immigrant parents. And I realized they were from Ghana. And so I took him out and basically had him under my arm till he came out, right? But he said to me, Mom, I'm going to Ghana and I'm not leaving you. And I said, son, I'm coming. And the girls go, we're going. When you go down to Cape Coast, guys, you're still, I don't know if Dutty Bookman has been down there because it's in England. So basically it's just a stone throw across. But I tell you, when you walk into the dungeon, guys, you still smell the piss and, forgive my language, Your Honor, the fecal matter and the incontinence of urine and stuff like that. You still smell it till today, guys. It is very graphic. No, it is graphic. When you walk into the dungeon, it feels like you're suffocating. You could basically feel I'm not a person about spirit and thing. I was like, I dismiss that. But when I left Ghana, I was in tears. I was depressed because there was something that it was like, an ancestral spirit. And I went up north. To Kumasi, and I went up to Mongpong. And here what I realized, that the Maroons were not only fighting the Jamaican War for the first time, the British, it was something that they were accustomed to, because they would take them from the north. They would give them one shower, because here what they did, they used their own Ghanaian guy. He was in England. They took him. He was a teacher from Ghana, went to England. Then he was trained as a pastor. And what they did, they used him to do crusades and stuff. And while he's having those crusades, they went and they captured the people. And that was their tool of taking. That's why a lot of times they're saying, you know, the Maroons are sellout, the Ghanaians are sellout, because they sold their people by having these and that. And guys, if you look where the Church of England was, right on top of the castle, right on top, and right below, they were saying, hey, it is okay, because what the custom of Ghana was, is that if somebody would commit, you know, pretty larceny or anything, they would then go and work into somebody's field for 7 years and blah, blah, blah. And that's what they use, and enslave the people. I'm telling you guys, I'm cutting it short, that just like how the people go to Mecca, I think every Black person should take some time and go right to Ghana. And I didn't even know this, that I did West Indian history when I was in Jamaica. In my young years, I did West Indian history. I got a B for it at O levels, but I did not got it so until when I went there and I saw, guys, you want to see where the ship would dock? You want to see, I'm going to put a picture on my DP. You want to see how that water hits that rock and go miles, stories up. And then you think about your ancestry being thrown off in that. I'm telling you, I think the Queen's Pier down in Kingston has no talks to it. That tell you the depth of it when the wave would come in and rise. Guys, is something to behold. Did not know that more slaves went to Brazil than what went to Jamaica. I didn't know that. I did not know that. So it's a lot of education when you go there, you know, and I think everybody should take some time out, do a trip together to go to, you don't need a visa, because when we went on our Canadian passport. Now I got my Jamaican book proudly, so I don't have to get any passport, and I will be going back soon, because, you know, there's so I wanted to visit all the castles, because there were the Dutch castle, the Spanish castle, different, because you realize what they did. They went in and the different countries. So you have all of the Dutch and the Spanish and the French. And so that's why we have Haiti. We've got, what's it called? Let's speak Papiamento, help me. Curacao and all of those places. Different islands speak different, because it's who went in, and they had different holding places. And I really want to visit all the sites when I go back. That's my story. Thank you guys for holding this respectable room. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Chris. Thank you so much.
And Your Honor, before we move back to Bookman, I agree. When I hear her conversation this morning, I said, perfect. Because once you bring it to the front and on a platform as Cliff Hughes, it will go out there and it will be now become an investigative reporting. They're going to see and look into what she has brought to the forefront. And so I agree 100%. I liked it. I was like, wow, look at that. And so this has been happening. I'm surprised nobody has ever called Cliff or ever have the conversation on that level. So I'm glad she did. And thank you for listening. Thank you. So what's his name? What Pentagon was mentioning in the chat about that we are Bookman or whoever don't like Maroons or against Maroons or against Curry. We are not speaking on Curry, we are speaking on the Treaty of 1738. We want a lot of people who are listening are not well versed on history. Like Miss Hopewell will say, she is a history buff, she loves it. And not all of us are versed in history. So this is supposed to be an informative live mock courthouse, right? Mock courtroom. And let me also say that if you have information, we also welcome you to this platform. And I'm also going to say about what Miss Empress just said, my whole family, which include myself, I don't know if I'm going yet, but we're going to Ghana in February.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, Your Honor.
Not to interpret thoughts, but I watch it on what Miss Empress shared just now. And trust me, tears came to my eyes to see the terrible treatment. There's a room of somebody said that there's a point of no return. It's not how you have to be bound down there, bend down, you cannot stand straight. It's a terrible thing that our foreparents had gone through. Very terrible.
And Your Honor, if you don't, you have to know where you're coming from. Guys, we have to know where we're coming from. We have to. And so history is important. History is very important, guys. And while people are asking, why are we Ghanaian and speaking on Ghana? We have to learn where our forefathers came from. What is it? History is important. So this is why we went as far as to where we just went just now. And so I'm gonna turn back to Bookman.
Henry's here, Madam Clerk.
Henry just joined. Is there something that you like to add to the conversation? Henry, you can unmute your mic, Henry. I think your mic is muted. Henry? Or maybe Henry doesn't know he's on the platform.
Okay.
Henry? All right, so Bookman.
Yes. So thank you, Empress, for sharing that. Yes. Myself, I have not been to Ghana yet. I got Gambia coming up next year, all being well. Because majority of my friends, there are not a lot of Ghanaians in the UK. You have mostly Nigerians and lots of Gambians. So hopefully I meet a few Ghanaians and we can look at organizing a trip. But definitely, as Judge said, the point of no return. I've read it so many times in history. I've watched videos and documentaries on the dungeon, just as you've explained it, very graphic, you know. And the last place our ancestors were brought before they were shipped off, you know. And one of the most disturbing things is, although a lot of our ancestors went on those ships, there were points along that journey where lots of them, hundreds of them, were thrown overboard. All right? And they didn't even make it to this island. So that is another graphic part of the history. And I think all Jamaicans should not just Ghana, but at some point in your life, make it a commitment to visit the motherland. Because it's one of the things I always follow Sizzla Miguel Collins. And he has so much land in Africa. And most of this land is given to him. He has land in Ethiopia given to him by a government. He has land in Zimbabwe given to him by the government. He has land in Ghana given to him by the government. And he recently got land in Sierra Leone now by the government.
Wow.
Because of all his promoting of Africa and speaking up for Africa. So, yeah.
Wow.
So I think every Jamaican should make it a point of duty to visit the motherland at some point in your life, you know, and start accepting your ancestry, your Africanness, you know. Start accepting it. Yes, you are Jamaican by birth, but your ancestry is from Africa. And accepting that it doesn't diminish your Jamaicanness. It doesn't diminish the fact that we have created for ourselves something that is unique. And when you travel in the world as a Jamaican, you feel so proud when people ask you where you're from and you say Jamaica. Immediately they recognize you. They know of you. You know? Some persons, when they mention their country, people ask them, where is that? Yeah? When you say you're Jamaican, everybody knows you and know where you're from. You know? And the fact that you're a small island, but you're a big player in the world. In music, in sports, in politics. You know, Jamaica punches above its weight.
Like Miss Lou used to say, we look about with Talawa.
Yes.
Ivana, you're muffled. We're not hearing you.
Love is religion says thanks to Bob Marley. You know, someone said something the other day, love is my religion. And if we must really look into it. We point fingers and we say, thanks to Bob Marley, thanks to Usain Bolt, thanks to Shelley and Fraser. But what about thanks to Jamaica? Because it's the Jamaica that made Bob Marley, it's the Jamaica that made Usain Bolt. It's not the other way around, you know. It's not right? So if you look at a country that produced all these amazing people, why can't you appreciate the country and not individualize it? Of course, Bob Marley is great, and we appreciate Bob Marley. Right now, I have a massive picture of Bob Marley signed by all his children given to me on my wall. Of course, I love Bob Marley. Of course, I appreciate Bob Marley and all he's done. But Jamaica made Bob Marley. And it's not the other way around.
And continue to make it great.
Right.
great.
And there are others before Bob Marley. There are others before Bob Marley that made Jamaica great. There's others before Usain Bolt that made Jamaica great. So we have to give the island the black, green, and gold its props. There's no other flag in the world like it. There's no other flag in the world like it.
Someone said Jamaica will outlive us, so there will be more. There were before, and there will be after.
Right, but the thing is, like you said, Madam Clerk, you need to know where you're coming from. You don't know where you're going until you know where you're coming from. You have to know where you're coming from. I took the liberty to want to know where I came from with my family. And I found out that in Jamaica, with a Jamaican registry, I could pull my entire family tree back. Matter of fact, I pulled it back 5 generations back. Found my great grandmother and grandfather. Brought it forward to my father. And when I showed it to my father, tears rolled out of his eyes because he could see some of those people that he knew. And he's like, wow, you didn't know that this existed. So our records are there, and it's accessible if you take the time to do the research to know where you're coming from.
And let me add to what you're saying, because Empress said something, and I'm a little slow to what she said, Your Honor. I want to repeat, and if I'm lying, she can correct me. Yeah. Did she say find time to go to Ghana instead of Mecca? Is that a club in Jamaica that's called Mecca?
No, sis, no, not Mecca. All Islamic people, they make an annual trip to Mecca. So Mecca is to go celebrate Allah. So it's everyone, right? And it's you got it. So everyone would make
clarification. I wanted to make sure that everyone understood that.
Good. Yes, it's the Islamic. But you know what I want to say again with Ghana, and we're not moving away from the point of the Maroons. When you go to Ghana, I can tell you, I know there's a word for it, but I forget it totally now. I could identify people that I've seen in Jamaica. There's a word for it. If some bright student can actually, some lawyer sitting in the courtroom can actually put it. There's a word for it. Sorry. I could identify so many people. Like, I see this person. Then don't even talk when I went back to Jamaica. I was down in Westmoreland for my nephew's birthday, and we were at Royalton. And there were a couple of people that they invited. And I'm like, I was just pointing out Ghanaians. They were, and even myself, they're like, you are in the motherland. You are from, and they don't say the Ashanti guys. We say the Ashanti tribe, right? Am I right, Dirty Bookman? They say the Ashanti. No, they don't call it Ashanti. They say it's the Asante.
Asante, right.
Asante. I was like, it was an education for me. Another thing about when you go, as Jamaican, we want to celebrate Jamaica first, right? But guess what happened? With the music of Bob Marley, it has precedes Jamaica, if you understand what I'm trying to say to you. When you go to foreign country, because I travel, my daughters do better than I do because they work with the airline. So both of them, they are every few days they're somewhere else. They gave me a story where they went up into Morocco and they went to the Blue City, White City, blah, blah, blah. And they were driving and they got lost. When the girls got lost, they say, Mom, we were at a place till we saw some soldiers. And the soldiers go, where are you going? No. Where you guys going? And they asked the girls, where are you from? And they said, Canada and Jamaica. They said, Bob Marley. Okay. And they turned the girls because they said to them, do not go any further. You'd be in danger. And they turned them around. But who did they know? Bob Marley. You understand? Everybody is Bob Marley. Now that the younger group is out, when you go, they will be talking about the younger thing, because music, Jamaica is music, right? So they now talk about the different musicians that will travel around Africa. But our music, our sports, listen, as small as we are, it is out there over Jamaica. But we're going to see our Jamaica first. Jamaica is first, then our athletes, because that's where they're birthed, Jamaica.
Thank you. Okay, so I want to go back to Bookman, Your Honor.
We go to a little break, Madam Clerk. And I think this song is appropriate. It's on a Bob Marley song. Please recommend.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption song, emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption song, redemption song, redemption song. no fear for atomic energy. Cause none of them are can stop all the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing? The freedom, that's all I ever had. Redemption song, all I ever had. Redemption song, these songs of freedom, freedom.
That's the moment. That's the moment in history. Malcolm X said, and quote, "A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything." Very very powerful message in song and in quote. I hand over to Madam Clark.
So I want to ask a question to Dottie. You know, we are talking about history, and we are talking about the Maroon Treaty of 1738. And do you think that the mass Jamaicans have studied, have read, or have factual information about this treaty? Do you think that majority of Jamaicans have taken the time to learn about the history of the Maroon and the treaty? Because I feel like there's so much misinformation and so many people that are following the scamming, because I believe that when you're selling identity, because selling an ID card doesn't make you a Maroon. Selling a piece of TRN number does not make you a Maroon. And so when you are selling an identity and people are buying it because they want to belong or identify with a culture or a thing, do you think it is because of lack of knowledge or lack of information or not knowing history, our history?
Okay, Kirk, the short answer to that is yes, a lack of knowledge, lack of history. And that has to do with the education system which exists up to this day. Because like myself, most of my knowledge of history did not come from school. Not from high school, not from primary school. So it's not until you get to tertiary level that our education system sort of reinforces history or introduce the level of history that should have been taught at the secondary level. And we know that there's basic history in high schools, there's social studies, but I don't think that goes far enough in enlightening young minds. And that's where I think the issue lies. We have to open up the thinking, the critical thinking of young people, and we can't wait until they get to tertiary level to do that. You know, there's so many great works out there. One of the discussions I had earlier before coming to court was the topic of Walter Rodney book on how Europe underdeveloped Africa, you know, and it's an amazing piece of work, amazing in the sense that Walter Rodney touched on every factual aspect of European colonization and how that deprived and drained Africa of its wealth, you know, and you don't get that knowledge until you get to tertiary level. And I don't think some of that knowledge needs to wait until someone is 17, 18, or 19, you know. While they may not need to teach the whole entire subject, there are areas of history that have been introduced from the primary school going up to secondary school. And I think that is why today, when you have someone claiming sovereignty comes out and he says, listen, I want no help from anyone, or I don't want my place to be militarized. When you look at the comment section and what the people are commenting, you realize they have limited knowledge on topic. And had they had more knowledge and more information, then I'm sure they would be commenting otherwise. You know? So
let me ask a question. What is more detrimental? Not knowing history or knowing the wrong history?
Not. How is it wrong if you don't know it? Not knowing history can know when it is wrong history.
Right. So, but knowing the wrong history also could also be detrimental.
You're saying if you don't know history and all you know is the wrong history.
Right. Because if you don't know history, someone can sit you down and teach you history and teach you the right history. But if you know the wrong history, then you believe what you want to believe, and you're not open to learning anything else other than what you already know.
Not open to unlearn. So
right.
Yeah, it can go either way, and I agree with you, because I remember a young man. I know his parents, and he went off to university. He went off to the UWI, and one day I was speaking to him. I said, "What are you majoring? What are you studying up there?" And he said, "History." And I was like, "Whoa, that's good, because you know, I'm also teaching myself so much." So I said, "What type of history you're studying?" And he said, "European history." So when he said European history, I was like, "Why?" That was the question, why? Because I want to know, why are you studying European history? And he said, that's where civilization began. So what you said, Sapa, is exactly to your point, because while he said he was studying European history, he made the point that that is where civilization began, because that's what he's been taught.
that's what he was told.
Yes.
May I
And
interject?
civilization didn't begin with European history.
Miss Hopewell always like to interject. Miss Hopewell always like to interject when Dirty cut.
Because you know what, I will lose my train of thought.
Go ahead. Dirty Bookman is allowing.
I will lose my train of thought.
Miss
Yes, sir.
There is a thing that there's a herb, and this is factual now. You can do some research on the name ginkgo biloba. Have you ever heard that term before?
Yes, but I need a herb called sleep. That is the problem.
I love you. But you can try on some of it. It's very good for me.
Yes. But to the gentleman's question about learning the wrong history, I want to say something, right? When history is written, and Dr. Bookman, you can interject. So when history is being recorded, let me say this, right? It is not recorded by a single individual. So I cannot come here and say, in 1984, I used the coconut brush and Rexo floor polish to shine my floor in the country by myself, right? I would then need people to come and corroborate that in 1984, we weren't using vacuums, but coconut brush and dye and Rexo floor polish, right? So the recording of history has to be corroborated. But what I find that I fell in love with history in high school. And as Bookman rightly said, that it was in my tertiary years at UWI that I fell more in love with history. So I did Western civilization, I did history of Africa, I did some political history, looking at even Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, history of Mesopotamia. I had Professor Vereen Shepherd as one of my professors. I even looked at political history where I had, what's that man's name? He was a senator in whatever, I can't remember his name. But history in itself will push you to become more inquisitive as you read it and study it. It pushes you to want to learn more. So even when I learned about Marcus Garvey, it was in my final year, right? Because I switched from a history major to a media and communications major in radio broadcasting at Carmack. But then I had to do an elective. And there was this guy, his name is Knife. He was in the faculty of Soci. And there was a class called GT39G, Garvey and Garveyism. And that is how I fell in love. The first day I sat in that lecture hall, I fell in love with Marcus Garvey. And I said to myself, why is it that I did not know about Marcus Garvey and his teaching before my final year at the university? So you can learn the wrong history, but once you start to learn history, it pushes you to become more inquisitive, to find out the truth for yourself. That is what I want to add.
Yeah, the thing about you is that you were willing to open up your sponge to absorb history, and you're able to discern what is true and what is wrong. Some people just won't do that. Like you hear a bunch of people, you see a lot of people down.
I understand what you're saying, though.
Yeah, you see a lot of people down in the chat. They're talking a bunch of garbage because they don't. We're talking facts and we're educating each other. And instead of listening and absorbing, they're pushing back and they're spewing false information.
And I understand what you're saying, because even when they're talking about modern day, like the Maroons now and their way of life now, I don't add to that conversation because I don't know. What I do is listen. But the things that I do know, I would lend my thoughts. And if I have an objection because I read How Europe Underdeveloped Africa by Walter Rodney. So Professor Trevor Monroe was one of my professors. Professor Agri Irons was one of my professors at UWI. So I read those books. So those things, like when I hear that, I get excited, because people don't like history. They think it's boring, right? So when people are talking about modern day way of life, in a Kong and about the Maroons, I listen because I don't know. I don't lend mindless, thoughtless, irrelevant points to information or a conversation that I don't know. I listen and I try to piece it together and might push me to read. But the things that I do know about, that I've read for myself and researched on my own, I would lend my thoughts there.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Oprah. I wanted to read something in the comment section, and I know this person misspelled, and so I'm gonna see if I can figure it out, Your Honor. It's dose. I think they meant to write, does it mean that our colonials wrote our history? It's not what I am just thinking. This is what the person meant to write. Because it says, does it make, I'm thinking they mean, does it means that our colonials wrote our history? Our colonizer? Does it mean that our colonizer wrote our history?
I would say not necessarily, because what happened is, as I said, when you record history, right? So the history is recorded by corroboration. So it would be like Bookman and I giving the same account of the events or similar accounts. So they would take account from the colonizer's perspective and say from the enslaved perspective, and even outside perspectives of artifacts and things like that that they find. So history is not only verbal recordings, but also archaeologists and historians who find artifacts, who piece the picture together to create the full story. Somebody else can add, I don't know.
Very well said, very well said.
Bookman?
Yes, Miss Powell. Yes, Miss Powell. Miss Oprah, sorry, Miss Oprah. You're from Hanover, Miss Oprah?
Why?
Your name, Oprah, is in Hanover.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to give out our whereabouts. That's fine.
All right. Yeah, you are right, Miss Hopewell. That is it. You are definitely right. So yeah, we need to do more in terms of our education system in enlightening our young people to as our clerk said earlier when she spoke about the scamming and stuff like that. It's because of a lack of identity. I find that young men are not able to identify. They don't know who they are. They don't know exactly what their identity is. And I think history does that. History gives you an identity. The moment you immerse yourself in history and finding out how you came about, not just the physical you being born, but your ancestry, your descendants, it automatically identifies you. And that's when I used to listen to Bob Marley, the very song you play, Your Honor. And I always was trying to figure out in my teen years what he meant when he said emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Emancipate yourself. And I remember when that came about, when I was reading and reading and reading, and when I could trace where my ancestors came from, I could go back in time. And then when I connected, I said, oh, that's who I really am. This is who my people really are. And then I could identify. And the moment I unlocked that, then I opened my mind, freeing my mind, emancipating my mind. And I saw the whole world differently. So the younger generations are void of history. And they are unable to connect. They are unable to identify. And that's what leads them to a lot of the wayward things that they do. And yes, there's still going to be crime. There's still going to be issues. But I think and I put it this way, the Japanese culture, the Chinese culture, they are so immersed into tradition and history. That is why their young people are so focused, because of tradition and history. They know their history. They can identify.
But Mr. Bookman, let me interject.
Yes.
You see, one of the things that happened to us, right, when we were being colonized or forced into slavery, I remember distinctly reading that when the colonial masters came to Africa, one of the first lines that I read that stood out in my mind, it says, they took our culture, they took our names, they took our religion. It is a very pivotal point when they say they stripped us of our identity, right? And they had to do that for a reason. So, I understand what you're saying when you say we should know, but it was taken. It was taken, and it was taken so we wouldn't know.
I not to cut your Bookman, but I just want to tell her that point well spoken. Go ahead, Bookman. I remember that exactly.
Yeah, and while I agree, Miss Hopewell, not because something is taken, it doesn't mean that you can't return it or you can't take it back. So what I'm saying is
I understand, but they didn't do that to any other group of people. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that they did that methodically and strategically for a particular reason. So we would feel like a set of lost people. So how generation later we are so disjointed, and then finding yourself is almost as if you have to single-handedly do it. But they didn't do it to any other group but us for a reason. It's all about the control, but they didn't do it to anybody else. And that's why we're where we're at.
Yeah, but does that mean we remain where we're at? That's the argument I'm trying to put forward. I'm trying to
No,
push
definitely not. Definitely not.
our
But
young
it makes
people
it
and
much.
our schools need
Yeah,
to.
but it makes it harder to move as a cohesive, synergistic group of people other than other cultures, right? Because you mentioned the Japanese and whatever. They didn't have their culture stripped. They didn't have their names taken. They didn't have their identity stripped. They didn't have their religion taken, but we did, right? So when it's like you have dust in your hand and you just blow it to the winds and then you want it to come back together, how do you do that?
Yes,
Bookman?
Yeah, point taken, and I agree with Miss Hopewell. And as she says, I think what she's trying to say is that while it's not impossible, it will take time. You know, it's a challenge to get back there, and I agree. But we have to start. We have to start somewhere in enlightening our young people and teaching them their history. You know, from primary school going up, and not wait till they get to tertiary.
Bookman,
I agree.
just a bit, my friend.
I'm sorry.
Yes, but we realize also that in school and even on television, we would see some, when it comes on to February, we would see some Black history stuff that has been gone. Those things are no more anymore. So as Ms. Hopper said, it's totally wiped away. It's a reason. And the things that I know that out there for us, we're not paying any mind to it. Even this program right here, a lot of people are not informed, they're not aware, and that's why they type what they type. Madam, let me have Mr. King, he join us. We're going to close 11 o'clock, yeah, madam?
Okay, Your Honor.
Yes, so we can wrap up.
Okay. King, welcome to the platform. You wanted to add?
Thank you, Judge, and
welcome
others on the panel. Thank you for all of you who are enlightening us with our story. Helping us to bridge the gap, that enlightening us on some stuff where none of us never even hear these things before. And just to say that because of the damage that was done to us as a people in regards to moving us away from our culture, and I can say I was a prime example to that where that is concerned. And in the sense that connected to a group we know as the Maroon group in Portland from Moortown. And it was when I was in my 40s, I found out stories about my father with our culture, going from Nanny Town to St. Thomas with his drum. Me and my brother by my father's side, we never know our connection with the drums. We used to play the sink and the table and the pot and all of that stuff. It was when I was in my 40s, as I said, as we talk about erasing culture, is when I was in my late 40s, I find out that my father used to make them shred there. And I never know, because, and as we say, when you remove your culture and put something else in place, that is what happened. That's because what caused him to do stuff like that. Christianity, tell him, say, where am I do a witchcraft, enough to bother with that. You know? And Mr. Bookman and to others where learned scholars, is not all of us have the capacity, was that blessed educationally. Because some of us come out of the system without A nor Z, yeah? Because of the same system. And it hurt to know that we don't know about ourselves. You see so much cultures being ingrained in them people where they know this about themselves and that about themselves. But because we get distant from our stuff, that's why even that same thing, and one of the things I'm learning in regards to this whole people calling themselves indigenous, something I learned that in 2016, the present administration detached themselves from some brethren from overseas, I think in Namibia, because we were partnering with them or identified them as such. And then in 2016, they cut the card and said, oh, we don't want to identify with those who call themselves indigenous. So there's always been a fight against the people who identify themselves as indigenous. It's always a thorn in the colonial system because that is the only thing that identifies us as. Check this, as. We are identified as the people and they don't want us to be recognized as so. So Mr. Bookman and Dottie and all of the rest of people who are teach, Mr. Respect to you and continue to enlighten people and the truth because you have those who like to make a whole lot of noise and said, oh, you are not who you say you are. You know, I'm not stay up here. I am not one of these bright people. I am not one of them.
Before you go, King, sorry for cutting. You say your father is from Moortown, from Nannytown?
Yeah.
Is he still around today?
No,
my condolences. May his soul rest in peace. I have all love and appreciation for every Maroon living and residing in Moortown, in Nannytown. You know, the real warriors.
Part of my journey now is to go back into that community to try to. I just learned that I related to people up there. So since I come to Jamaica, you know, people where I walk past every day, I hear them up, you're Virgin Wagwan. And I know say I'm a cousin of them from up at Moortown. That's what I say. So that I want something we need to start talk more about this and even if we insist. Because if you reach to the stage where you reach to the university and our story is not being told, our story is supposed to be number one. It's supposed to be insisted that every university student know them culture. That's supposed to be like, oh yeah, you have to learn your story. Before like the brethren, we're going to learn European history, their story, before anything else. And a lot of people, one book I get myself connected to was the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, right? And a lot of people know that little book there, right? And it just give you one story of our transition through the part of the story. So again, I'm not going to stay up here long. I'm going to leave the scholarly things to the scholars. I just want to thank you because a lot of persons like myself sit down and I listen to and I teach our story. And that's what most are we interested in, to learn about ourselves, because without that, what we're going to proud for? What we're going to say, oh yeah, I've got pride in what? In order to have pride in something, you have to have a foundation to stand on. We say, I'm proud to be this because of this, what we did. Yeah, we say, okay, yeah, because, yeah man, the brethren did there, Jamaica, and then we see the brethren them over here, they go through where they go through, and then this side, they go over this up, and they go do that. And then the brethren them were left from here, so, and the buffalo soldier them, when they go war against them people there, we know I feel with them there. I feel with brethren them there. You know, we have in a Port Antonio, we have the senator, we go down there and do a video and see all of the name of them people there, where they go there for fight in a World War II, we represent for we. Right? When them have the Poppies Day parade. Me and did scout, we did a salute them and for what they would do. Yeah? So as we continue to teach this thing here and continue to enlighten people, even in regards to knowing themselves and knowing self. First, we were first. Okay, we don't know when nobody else said we did there before everybody else. We don't know about where we want to say. That's what they tell me say. So, me not do the little pretty conversation. But thank you again, me not even going to stay up here. But thank you, Your Honor, for giving me the opportunity to come nice in our place. All right, Your Honor, I rest my case.
You're most welcome, King, man. You're most welcome. You following the page? Yeah, he's following the page. Madam Clerk, we have.
I want to repeat what's. Yes, I want to repeat what someone's saying here. What someone said. Those before us, I think they meant to say never shared anything with us either. I think what my friend Electro is trying to say, that the ones before us didn't really share much with us either. Do you agree with that, Bookman and Miss Hopewell?
To some extent, yes, and to some extent, no, because history is not only what is written in books, right? History is also transmitted through storytelling. Storytelling, whether in song or even storytelling where you listen to your grandmother telling you a story about something happened, like our Christmas time now, and tell us a rolling calf and Jankuno and all these things. So that is a part of history. History is also storytelling. It's not only formal writings that is recorded in books and put in a library. So, you know, it just depends.
Okay. Bookman?
Apologies, Kirk. Could you repeat the question in the comment?
Someone in the comment asks, is it also that the people before us didn't share this, it's like they didn't want to share history, or they didn't share history? I forgot exactly what she said. Let me see if I can find it. She said the ones before us, where was it? Said those before us never shared anything with us either.
I wonder if the person is speaking of our own ancestors, or is she speaking of our captors, those who enslaved us? That would make the difference if I knew exactly which set of people the person was referring to.
Electra, what were you referring to? Electra?
He said, like the elders.
She said, like the elders in our life. So.
Okay. No, it's not that. It's not that they didn't share. You know, it's just that. Just like the younger generation we have today, we got Gen X and we got Gen Z. It's just that the younger generation chose not to carry on the tradition. It's not that they didn't share it, because I can tell you, growing up, there are many things that I observe. There are many stories that I listen to that today, majority of those of my generation, they do not take part in those things today. When I was growing up, Kumina was much bigger than it is today. It was not just St. Thomas. It was not just Watttown in St. Anne. Kumina was big right across Jamaica. You know? Now it is dwindled down into just a few communities. So it's not that the elders fail to pass on tradition. It's just that the generation at the time, they choose not to carry on the traditions.
Oh no, we have Halloween, truth. Changing the narrative. Truth, these things mean nothing.
When I speak about the coming, that's one of the area where I can say so. I used to play that a lot in Portland. A lot. Almost every week when I am like 30 years ago. Like almost every week we used to have a place where we play coming up, we send off. And I see after not being here for a while, I come back and I see we have a different energy take over the coming and it transfer into band playing and the speaker box and stuff like that, where the authenticity, you may borrow one of them fancy words, the authenticity of the culture has gone to naught, so to speak. And I am still, and I won't give up until not more than a day after give up, still going to try to revive back that ancestral part, because like I said, one of our elders who I was around, I used to travel over Jamaica and play coming at different places, different parishes and all of that stuff. Yeah. So that part I can say I can identify with in the terms of seeing it dwindle down because another vibration came up, and the way how it was supposed to develop, it wasn't developed in that way. You know, instead in terms of letting it be known what has been done. Like when we go to a location, it was taught at one time. Every part of the thing was taught. Why we get the rum, why you get the rice, why you come with the food, why you come with the kangaroo, why you do the libation. It was a teaching time. We never just used to just go and just play the music. It was something where you used to learn what is going on and what is the whole function of make sure we because most persons are the Maya or the Mayas, the part where the ancestors get to participate. They don't want to put it away. The ancestors get to participate that time, because that is the time where they can come and get to be a part of the vibration. When you welcome them and say, hey, you want somebody to dance with, see me here, me I give myself to you to be a part of this dance here. You know what I mean? So it's a lot to learn. And I just watched a clip just now with a dance group, and they were playing the drum. And I was listening to it, and I listening to every bar that they was playing and all of that. I was taught by somebody from St. Thomas. Yeah? That you come to
Thank you so much, King. We're running out of time.
Yes, we're running out of time, darling. Thank you.
We have
Thank
two
you. Hold
persons,
on.
3 persons.
Yes.
Just give them,
I was just
half a minute each.
okay. You're going to hang up now. All right, just a quick one. I was just clarifying what I wrote. I guess because you know typing with the phone. So I grew up with my grand aunt. That was my mother's auntie. My mother's aunt. She was an elderly person. But while growing up in the country, because I was living in town and then I went to the country to live with her, and I used to go to this secluded place across the river as a child by myself. And I used to see these little things along the river coast, like things that are actually now that you can go on the internet and see. And she never used to say anything to me. She just used to say, little girl, you're not afraid. Why you always by yourself over there in the river? And she never tell me what they were. And it's when I start to browse now as an adult, Mr. Ratted, know them something I'm used to see. This, like, you know, that is where somebody long back in the day used to live. Literally, I can picture those things by the riverside in the actual Jamaican library archive. And she and when I get big, I say, why she didn't tell me? Let me know, let me understand. Because I remember one time she said, you don't understand, you know. We grew up in Wackland Dab house, and the floor was dirt and the roof was made with clay. But she still wasn't allowing me to understand. And now you realize everybody's story is the same thing. Is when I become older, I teach myself and I understand. I mean, I say, oh, that is what it was. Even World War III, I remember one time she just said to me, you know, when I was little, when we hear the planes coming across, we have to out the lamp. And I said, why? And she said, little girl, go sit down, you don't know nothing.
So Electro, Your Honor, Electro, again, I will say this. I don't know if Bookman wants to interject when I say our parents were not taught how to, our parents wasn't taught how to be good. I don't know, let me say it in a different way. Our parents didn't really have good parenting skills, grandparents. I'm talking like myself, my father is 95. And so I went through the same thing that you went through. I'm from Portland. The same thing that he mentioned about the kumna, the dance, the jacuno, all of those things. I grew up with them, and they won't explain to my grandparents or my parents. It was just something that you saw. And if you overhear adults spoke on it, then that's how you would learn. But it's not something that they would sit down with you and teach you, because they themselves wasn't even taught what these things were. They end up knowing it because, again, it's how they were also brought up. My father, 95. So I understand exactly what you're saying. I think most of us that have a certain age went through what you went through. Like the judge said, we only have a few more minutes left. So I didn't, Your Honor, I wasn't adding anyone for that reason, but you did. So let's hear Derek. You have a minute, Derek.
What we can do, Madam Clerk, is that we can bring this over to Saturday, well, probably even Saturday or Wednesday. But King would like to extend a special invitation to King that he can come Saturday to experience.
Good night. Good night.
Yes.
Derek, like the judges is stating, I wasn't planning on adding anyone to the live because
I understand that. I hear it. I hear it before.
Yeah, we're going to end at 11, my love, and so
I understand. But what I'm saying, you see, what I'm saying, we can't blame it on our parents alone. We blame it on the training that them get.
Right, but that's what I said, Derek. I said they weren't taught how to be that type of parents that teaches the youth. My father is 95 and I know this clearly. I am the biggest, I can speak on that. Like, you know, now that he has traveled and now that he has seen and understand other culture, now when I tell him I love him, he tells me he loves me. But I never grew up with my father telling me I love you. When I was 9, 7, 6, 5, 4, he's 95. His parents grew up hugging him and kissing him on the forehead and telling him he loved him, read storybooks to him, and having these conversations with him. We have to remember that he was born in 1930 something. And so this is why I'm saying that, because they wasn't shown or taught the same thing. In turn, they don't know how to teach you what they were taught. And so this is a wonderful conversation, a learning moment. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. King, the judges just extended it.
Before you close though, I need to say one last thing. I think all of us have kids. I get 7.
Hold on, Derek.
Yeah.
Like you want the whole program now to discuss all of those.
No, man. One last
Come back on Wednesday.
One last thing, man, and come on.
No, man, you're not saying one last thing. Come back on Wednesday. Give Grove a talk, let we finish up. You said something already. Give Grove, open your mic. You cannot come back Wednesday, man. We are here Wednesday. Follow me. And come back Wednesday.
Grove Master, you want to open your mic and just say the one last thing?
All right, he's
okay.
Derek, we take you on Wednesday evening or Saturday.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
You have a good night.
We apologize, right? So let me say, Judge, I've extended his time till 11 o'clock because his case and his session is from 8 to 10. But he realized that this conversation, there's really a time that we can put on it, because as you can see, we would go all night because you folks and us are so in tune, and so we really want to learn our history. We are deeply interested and devoted in understanding where we're coming from. So we understand that a lot of us don't want it to end, but I have to go to work and the judge have a second job, our first job. So on Saturday night we go until 2 o'clock in the morning. But weekdays we have to, rest up early. We can't go too late.
You know I have a job too.
Yeah, I know. Derek, later, Derek.
Thank you, Judge. But I just want to say to the audience and to anybody listening, because Judge Sims, your live is global.
Really?
We should start, yes. The Cliff Hughes, a big thing that,
Really, no?
But I just want to say to the educators and to the policy makers, socialization starts with children. And if we want our children to be appreciative of who they are and what we stand for and our rich heritage and culture, when I'm in the United States and I open my mouth to speak, I am, it's clear I am Jamaican, and then the conversation starts. So we shouldn't shun who we are. We should stand in our truth and stand in our rich heritage. And we should start with our children. Once them can talk, start teaching them about them history.
Agree. If everyone agree with Ms. Hopewell, please type agree in the comment section. And Your Honor, I'll let you, before I let you have your last say, Your Honor, Dutty Bookman, I appreciate you so much. I reached out to you, you responded. I know you're busy, and you also told me you had a next live that you would be on. I appreciate you tonight and welcome you back every night if you can. Miss Empress, thank you for bringing this to Cliff Hughes nationwide. Thank you for listening, and for each and every one. Electro, make sure when you pass your test, you bring me that result up here. Your Honor, she had a final exam, and I keep telling her to go study. She said she did it, and she's waiting for the results. You make sure you pass. Miss Hopewell, thank you again. You always bring clarity. And everyone in the comment section, thank you. Text agree if you agree with Miss Hopewell. Yeah, Your Honor, I give you the floor.
May I, before the judge closes, I just want to say thanks for having me back again. And it would be injustice or disservice if if I did not share with your audience this part of the history the next time I'm back. I want to go through the Sam Sharp Rebellion. It is very important. It's a pivotal point in Jamaica's history, and it's something that I think every Jamaican should be aware of. So when next time back, I will present the Sam Sharp Rebellion, and I'm sure many persons will appreciate it, and their ears and their eyes will be open to some of the things that they'll hear about that rebellion.
Yes, Mr. Bookman, you know, at all times I want to say thank you very much for lending yourself to us. You could have been otherwise minded, but you choose to be here with us in the wee hours of what, in the morning. Is it morning in England now? Yes, so we appreciate it. It's not taken for granted. And also, I'm not sure if we can, there's no conclusion to this thing. There's no conclusion. I want to conclude, there's no conclusion. So if we could just wrap up even Saturday, and then if there's anything arise, we can look at it again. But thank you very much, listening audience and my courtroom. Thank you very much, Madam Clark. Thank you so much for availing yourself. You could be otherwise minded in your beautiful week. You're not going to take it out tonight. You could be otherwise minded, but you choose to be here with us nightly to share this important, rich history of Jamaica. And that is why it's important for us to know who we are and keep our words careful, not to slander Jamaica and Jamaica leaders and all of these things. It's very, very important. Very, very important. I want to take us out with the Redemption song one more time. And I think it's a
not to cut you, Your Honor, but please remind the folks of the days when you're alive, because someone was asking in the comment.
Yes, I go live Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, 8 o'clock. Monday, Wednesday, we go up to 10 o'clock, but we have extended the time because of the interest of this topic. So, and Saturday, 8 still to 2 o'clock. That's fair enough time where we can, you know, discuss and share. We have more people on the weekend and we have more persons coming up to ask questions. So definitely, you can go on my page and you see the days, and also give me a follow. Josh didn't get a chance to speak tonight, but Josh come on Saturday night, he reach home late, so it is. And you know, all the time different, time zone different. So we'll close out with this song. So court is officially adjourned. We're just going to close out with a song. Miss Mitchell is here, my clerk as well. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I saw one of them earlier. Lashika was here earlier, and Kerry. And did I miss any?
No, I think yes. Chuck was here as well. Thank you, Miss Michelle.
And,
thank you.
She has an internet issue, so she's not with us now. So thank you very much. If you're not yet following me, follow me. I know, yes.
You're welcome.
You can follow me now. Yes. And they have that lion, if they have the lion, Madam Claire, they can't send it.
So like to the merchant ship, minutes after they took us from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption song, redemption song.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Madam Claire.
Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind.
Oh, thank you.
Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time.
Thank you so
How
much.
long shall they kill
7 more
our
roses to
prophets
complete.
while we stand aside and look?
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk.
Some say it's just
Thank you so
part
much.
of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing?
somebody the next thing, Madam Clerk. Thank you. Ashika, someone, yes, thank you. Thank you, Madam Angel. Wow, thank you, Anointed. Thank you. Very deep song. Very deep. Three more roses to complete it. 3 more roses to complete the gallery. Thank you so much. Thank you, Angel. Aunties, thank you. Stand but yourself can free your mind. Thank you very much, you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Yes, some say it's just a part of it.
Thank you, Madam Mitchell.
Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs. All I ever had.
Oh, Derek, just click on beside my name. Yeah, man, you're following me, Derek. You're following me, Derek. Thank you. So, what a beautiful song.
Yes, beautiful.
Beautiful song. Very emotional to some extent. Madam Clerk, it looks like, I have Steve today.
If you know how much work I have to do, oh my goodness. I'm going to end and go do, I bought some stuff today. It was delivered and I have to go remove them.
Yes, okay. In the night here? We can wait till the morning? You're going out early tomorrow?
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow.
I have to go save people's life in the cold. It's going to be 17 degrees in the morning.
It is snowing now?
It was snowing yesterday. It's snow on the ground now. So it's going to be freezing tomorrow when I leave.
As I tell you, this morning the way was up, I have to check if I have on the blanket.
It's
It was cold. Yes.
It's cold.
For those who use natural coconut oil, it hard in the bottle now.
Yes. Caroline, thank you. I'll be careful.
So definitely Wednesday we want to look at the NIDS, the NIDS card. There's much debate about it. We want to look at the NIDS and we want to look at the progress of the JPS linesmen. And Wednesday as well, we want to touch a little bit on it. I'm not sure if Madam Clerk want to continue on the Maroons and Chief. There's so much information I know that we cannot exhaust it.
No, but we can have we can speak on the NIDS. But let me say this: we can never conclude on our history.
Wow.
So let's take that out of the equation of concluding. We can never conclude on our history because our history will be forever written, and so we will always be speaking on our history, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Yes, I think it's time we really look into it because it is now coming to say. It is so convenient that the government is using the hurricane to introduce the NIDS card, which for those who are here, everybody is a part of what is about the NIDS that they are afraid of because we are using our thumb or fingerprint to open our phone. We are using our eyes to open our phone. All our biometrics are out there already. It's out there. So what is it that is so they are so afraid of?
It's because it has been implemented and introduced by this government. That's all it is. And it is a narrative that has been pushed long before Melissa. But if you listen, Your Honor, to the people, if you listen to the People's National Party promise one of their promise was they would introduce a digital ID system. While they made this promise, it didn't state what it was, but it is the NIDS, because a digital ID system is NIDS. And so it is politics, Your Honor, pure politics. And because it is introduced or been implemented by one party and not the other, is where the politics comes in, Your Honor.
So I want to unravel it. Josh, if you so choose, so desire, you can come and join us. And any other person who, have the information and want to share. Because remember, we don't know the information. We are not casting any judgment. When you bring the information to us, we are able to make a judgment. So we don't know. So this is not something preconceived and we have our ulterior motives. It's none of that over here. We want to look at the facts, and that is it. And that is why we try to stamp out Chop City with this information about the ID. I don't know. I've never traveled outside of Jamaica. I don't know. You are over there, Madam Angel and Empress. So you would know the requirements to open a Wells Fargo account. So, and that is it. So we want to look at the needs. And if there's any other pressing interested matter, we can look at it as well.
And yes, Your Honor, Lashika wrote in the comment section that the People's National Party created the bill. And so on Wednesday, we invite all that have the information. Yes. And we would like to have a robust conversation. But like I said, we invite all that have the information. We will not take your feelings. We will not take what you think. We will not take your emotions. We will take facts. And so if you have the information, you're welcome to be a part of this courtroom on Wednesday so we can have this case and bring the information to light.
Be reminded, we are not about any agenda more than to speak the truth and let it be a part of us. And as I think it's Malcolm X, let me find this quote, we can close with it. Which one of them say? Yes, as Malcolm X said, these men are great many. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, who else? Bob Marley, Garnet still coming up to, we need to talk about these people we can do it in Black History Month. Yes. So we can do pure Black History in February and look at these men, the contribution they had made to the country and our development and so on, to really, and I should say from last week, our female prime minister, you know who that is, right, Madam Clerk? She celebrated her 80th birthday, I think it's about Sunday, so my dear. A lot of our ministers celebrate birthday. You have Daryl Vaz celebrated birthday. I think it's either today or yesterday. Mama P, only female. I don't think there are going to be any other in our generation. And then you had Bruce Golding celebrated his birthday as well. So we give them, can we pay our ministers and our leaders? Can we fully pay them?
No.
Okay, that's another topic we need to look at too, as well. Babsy celebrated her birthday too sometime this month. Yes, so we have them too.
So we I guess on Wednesday, Your Honor, we can actually salute our heroes.
Yes.
And our public servants, like we had a conversation with Pernell Charles Jr. on the other day, because these people have given up their time and they sometimes with a life family for public service. So on Wednesday we can start with that, Your Honor. Your Honor, I'm gonna task you with that, Your Honor. That would be your task.
I like to listen. I like to oversight. I don't want to get into much of the conversation. I want to remain the judge,
Your Honor, yes, but we wanted to honor these people.
Okay, that's what I mean.
In the beginning of the session, yes, Your Honor.
Understand. Yes, definitely.
Okay, Your Honor. You're going to close now, Your Honor? It seems like you still want to.
I was going to read the quote from Malcolm X, and I quote, he said, "I am for truth, no matter who tells it. I am for justice, no matter who is for it or against it." It's very profound, very deep, You know, so this is what we are over here doing, standing up for truth and respect each other. All right.
Yeah.
Empress, she like in the box. The Empress not leaving us tonight. Empress,
Sleeping.
you sleeping.
Mhm.
Yes, Empress like it over here. So thank you, viewers. Thank you. Oh, she love it. You see, she love it. This is for adults. It's not for everybody over here. This is for a special set of people that desire truth, desire respect, respect each other and so on. So that is why you are here. You find yourself here. All right. So now have a good night now. Let me close out with my intro.
We'll see you Wednesday, everyone.
Wednesday. Definitely Wednesday.
Have a blessed 2 days away. Be safe. And the word of the day for me is love and respect.
Yes.
Okay. Love yourself first, and then you can love others. But you have to love yourself first.
Definitely. That's why you're here. Adults over here. Adult content, adult mind. Yes.
Love and respect, guys. Okay. Thank you so much.
And I would like to thank Empress to bring the matter to Mr. Cliff Hughes, that he can do some research, and I guess he will speak about it. And then Madam Clerk, you can screen it and then you can share it over here as well. Yes, yes. Have a good night, everyone. Have a good night, Empress, Survivor. Yes.
Good night, Your Honor.
Good night, Madam Clerk.
Good night, Marsha, Derek, Spirit Child, Anointed Child, Outlaw.
If you're here for the first time and you're not yet following me, give me a follow while you go. Just click the follow button. Click the follow button.
Sorry, Anna. Following, please follow the judge.
And follow in our clerk too. Yes, thank you, Ian. Thank you, Ian. Follow the clerk as well.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Have a good night, guys. Be blessed.
Good night, Empress. So see you on Wednesday, Empress.
Yes,
sure. I will be here.
Empress, if you have something you like us to discuss, you can always, what to do at the end of the show, we take submission for the following live. So we can
anything on my mastery is on health. Because that's what I always talk to Cliff about. My mastery is on health. Health and wellness.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a follow so that therefore, because what we can do, we can give you 5 minutes to talk about, because we need to know how to take care of ourselves at this time.
Oh man. Yep, you get me started when you do that. Yeah,
we're gonna give you 5 minutes. Yes, so I give you a follow. So whenever I have anything for you to do, I'll definitely send it to you in your inbox so that you can come and share with us.
And I'm always ready. I never say no because I love to give my people the education. I never say no.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we can probably even create a health tip. So your section or whomever, that's a section of 5 minutes for the elders to talk about health, and we continue the program.
Okay.
I appreciate that, guys. Anytime.
That time and again, I delegate different people to do different things, ask them to do research and come with the information. All right?
All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Madam Clara.
Night.
So as I said, if you are here and not yet following me, you can just click the follow button. Yasmin, Kim, entry, wow. Madam Mitchell, we're going to encourage them to tap the screen so that we can reach up to a 50K in the night. Yes, we can do better than this. I guess everybody listening, they don't want to miss anything, so they are there listening.